Welcome, everybody, to Crystal Bears, a Final Fantasy podcast. This is episode 4. I'm Droogle.
I'm Ridesy Shupov.
And I'm Easley.
Hopefully this runs a little smoother this time. We did have technical issues, so we reset, but I think we're all good now. OBS seems to be functioning more properly. Everybody in chat, looks a lot better, looks a lot better. Awesome. That means I can bring on our very, very special guest. We have James Lee, 85, joining us.
Hello, it's a pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
I'm just going to say again, please introduce yourself. I don't want anybody to miss out on the introduction in the archive or anything like that. You have the floor, James. Tell us about yourself. Tell us about your channel. Tell us how you got here.
Yeah, cool. As you know, I'm a Twitch streamer, and I had this really original idea to start Final Fantasy Marathon a couple of years ago. I didn't quite think it would take over everything I do on stream, but it has. I've played almost all of the games before. There's only a select couple that I haven't played before. You all right, Shoop? But yeah, this is the first time I've ever played them in order, start to finish. On my stream, I don't use emulators. It's all physical hardware. It's going for that kind of nostalgic feel. I also have a number of redeemable effects that people can use to add a little bit of extra challenge to the game. And sometimes I bring in my wife, Vicky, who is absolutely not a gamer. The first game she ever played was Final Fantasy VII, live on stream. The second game she played was 7 Remake, and we thought, natural progression. The next
good
game
choices, very good choices.
Oh yeah, they were good. They were good ones to start off. So she's on Dark Souls now. So we thought we'd just kind of level her up a little bit and see how she gets on. So and she's doing surprisingly well. Yeah. So
what
now
has
at
been
the
her
moment,
favorite? Just to jump in real quick, what has been her favorite?
I think she still says 7. Original 7 has still been her favorite so far, but she's enjoying Dark Souls. Like, we only did that as kind of a test, see how she got on with it at the end of another stream, and she was like, "Yeah, I want to play that some more." So, like, excellent. Yeah, let's see how you get on with it. And now she's swearing a lot. So, anyway, we're up to Final Fantasy XII on the marathon, and if I can get my DS mod sorted out in time, then the next game we've got up is Tactics Advance 2. So yeah, still lots to go.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it seems like the stream is popping a little bit for everybody. I'm not sure what's going on, you guys. I apologize for any stuttering there might be. Seems like I'm getting some spikes from different things. Let me try and shut down some other tabs, maybe.
Well, whilst you're doing that, I'll address James then. James, so right now you're playing Final Fantasy XII, to what we understand. How are you finding it?
Interesting. I mean, I'm playing the PS2 version, so the idea is I'm trying to play the original releases wherever I can get them. So I often get people come in and they're like, "Why aren't you playing the Zodiac Age? It's so much better. There's so many quality of life improvements." And I think the thing I'm struggling with most is the license board right now, because everyone has the same license board on the original PS2 version. Yeah. Every character is kind of cloning already, even at these very early stages of the game. They're kind of cloning each other, and they're all kind of getting the same buffs and all kind of same setup of things. So I'm finding that a little bit difficult to kind of separate out the characters and have specific characters for specific things. But overall, so far, it's still enjoyable. It's not top tier for me, but it's good.
See, I found when I played the original, it was fairly tricky at points due to the fact that there was a lot of similarities on everyone's board, because they tend to follow a similar route just by natural progression in how you tend to go. And I will personally say the Zodiac Age definitely is a big improvement, but I didn't dislike 12 by any means. I just found Zodiac Age a whole different tier. And what did you say is on next for you?
Tactics Advance 2. Which is a DS game that they brought out. So I recently played Tactics Advance, which was Game Boy Advance. And apparently Tactics Advance 2 is a less good version of that, is what I'm told. It's one of the few that I haven't played, so that should be interesting.
You're diving deep. You're going all the way in. I saw you were going to do like 12. You're going to do 12 Revenant Wings and all that too, right?
Yeah, we got Revenant Wings lined up as well. Yeah.
You're going all the way. There's a lot that I've missed when it comes to some of those spin-offs. Like, I never did Revenant Wings, but it's probably because I wasn't a big fan of 12. But also, I've never done Tactics. I've never done Tactics Advance. I never did. What was it called? That one that came out after the original NES release, which is sort of like, I think it was Mystic Quest, right? That was the Final Fantasy. One of the early ones. That was supposed to be like a lighter one for us stupid Americans.
Yeah, your Mystic Quest sounds right.
Yeah. for the stupid Americans. I never did that one either, but I've actually heard that one has some like great music and things like that. So I might try to jump in since I'm kind of also going through a little bit of a marathon right now. I just did all the Pixel remasters, which I loved. I'm on 6 right now. And I will say my second playthrough of 6 is considerably more enjoyable than my first for some reason. And I think what I'm attributing it to is that I played 6 last time after modern games. I might have even played, like 7 remake near it or something like that, right? And it's just completely different going through 1 to 5 and then playing 6. Seeing the evolution, appreciating where the series came from and where it went completely alters the perspective and the quality of 6 in my opinion. And I'm just having a better time with it this time. So I'm really happy I decided to do it because when I started the Pixel remasters, I told everybody I'm just gonna do 1 through 5. I just did 6 like 2 years ago. I'm just doing 1 through 5. And then when I got to the end of 5, I was like, what do you guys think? I'm gonna do a poll in chat. Should I just do 6 again? And everybody's like, yes, do 6 again. And I'm really happy I listened to everybody because it's turning out to be just a much more impactful experience this time. I'm going 100% story playthrough, trying to see everything I missed the first time, all those hidden characters, which 6 has a lot of. One of the coolest things about 6, especially coming from 1 through 5, is it was the first one to really dive into side quests that develop characters. Like with 1 through 5, especially with 4 and 5, you started to get a little bit of side quests with finding summons and things like that, right? But you didn't really get a lot of character development. Or completely optional characters from those side quests in any of the previous ones. So 6 was just such a step up in that degree. And in some ways, I think it can be a little bit stretched thin where you have like 16 characters, right? Or is it 14? 14 or 16? Can't remember. It's something like that. And sometimes it feels a little stretched thin here and there because there are so many. But I do really appreciate that the ambition, right? Coming from what came before to have these completely optional characters, to have the story that you might never see for characters like Shadow. I thought that was, at the time, that had to be such an ambitious thing. That had to be something actually kind of risky.
Can I just interject really for a second? I have not played 6 yet. And I'm avoiding like all spoilers and big story points. So just to be conscious of.
Do you have it on your backlog at least?
Yes.
Are you going to be playing it?
Yeah. I'm currently, I just finished Final Fantasy II yesterday. I'm playing through the Pixel remasters. So I've finished 1 and 2. Next is 3. I'm going to start 3 next week. 4 I've played before, and I've played the 3D version as well. 5 and 6 I have not played yet. I've peeked into Drew playing 5, and his 6 streams, I'm the worst mod ever because I just don't want to be there. I don't want to spoil the experience for myself, and I know how much 6 is loved. The only thing that I know is that you can suplex a train.
No, you can meteor strike.
That would be the meme, yeah.
Yeah, they
changed it.
Yeah.
The sons of bitches.
Oh yeah, you
it.
can. Do you? So I'm seeing in chat, James. I just want to ask. I'm seeing in chat that a lot of people are saying that James has a vast love for 2. Is this a troll, or do you actually love 2?
Yeah, this is very much a troll. Those people saying that know very well how I feel about Final Fantasy 2.
I thought they were telling the truth. I believed it.
Well, no. So I know that you were saying that you try and play on original hardware and that you're not doing remasters. You play the original, and someone who just finished the Pixel remaster yesterday, and I loved it because of all the quality of life changes. You didn't get to experience that. You got to experience
and I get really
the
bitter. I get really bitter about this. When I watch people stream the Pixel remaster and I see them go kind of like 4 times speed and they're doing diagonal movement and the battles are really snappy and quick. And I'm casting my mind back to when I'm playing on this old version where every battle takes 30 seconds just to load up and get into the battlefield, and then another 30 seconds to go through the experience menus and close down and get back. And then you take 1 step and it's another battle and you start doing that. And I had a really bad time with some of the old ones, particularly 2. I really did not get on well with that one, but yeah, I still managed to get it done. I still completed it. It still got ticked off the list, but I won't be going back anytime soon to that one.
I'm pretty sure that every stream that I did of Final Fantasy II, I had at least one person come in and tell me, I hate this game, or this game is so bad. Or even when I posted on Twitter that I beat Final Fantasy II, one of my first comments was, I am so sorry you had to go through that. And I'm like, no, I loved it. I didn't do the original. I did the Pixel remaster, and I had already known doing the original would take a lot longer. And I think the quality of life was,
Yeah, what they were trying to do with that, you can see kind of the ideas that they had, in terms of like how you level up in that game, and some of the mechanics they have, like the password system. You can see what they were going for, but it felt like, especially on the original versions, it felt like they just missed the mark a little bit, and that missing the mark early on just kind of deviated and deviated and deviated until by the end of the game it just wasn't fun anymore. There were a number of times in that game, password system specifically, you don't get the right password. You end up going to some random place, realize you haven't got that password you needed, had to go all the way back through all these fights that take ages to just get through. It's bringing up trauma just reliving it all right now. So.
I'm actually with Shoop. I really enjoyed 2. No, it's not my favorite by any means, and it actually probably does rank somewhat low for me because even with the quality of life, I did find some annoyance in the dungeons with all of the empty rooms and sort of the trollish qualities of the game that I felt like, oh my god, I couldn't even imagine doing this non-pixel remaster. I don't even want to think about it. But still, I really enjoyed that after the first game, they decided to do something so different when it comes to the leveling system. They could have just done more of the same, but they completely flipped things up with that leveling system, and they haven't done it since, and maybe that's because people aren't fond of it, but I still I got to give them some credit for doing something completely different than the first game when it comes to the leveling. And I really enjoyed the music. I think the music was great, and it actually had characters, not something like the characters we see in 6, of course, but still, it was really cool to see the innovation from 1 to 2 to 3. All of that was really special. And Shoop's experiencing it in the same way I did, I feel like, right now. So I definitely get it. I'm with you, Shoop.
9 being my favorite game of all time, and some references that I didn't know about. The Joseph thing blew my mind. I absolutely lost it when I realized that we were playing through the story that Rama tells you in 9 for Garnet to get her Eidolon back. And I was just like, oh, it was really cool.
Yeah. Easily, let's go to you real quick. How's everything going with you? I know you've done some cool stuff the past month on Twitch with Final Fantasy IX, and I want you to let us know all about it.
So we did the relay through RPG Limit Break, which was phenomenally good. Regardless of my own performance, it was by far one of the best things I've done through Twitch. The speedrun community in general was so good to see, and it was such a massively fun thing to be involved in, to be honest, especially as someone who's very new in that community by comparison. As NK's put the emotes in chat, there were 3 teams, and I was part of Team Choco, which unfortunately did not win. But I tell you what, if next year I get the opportunity, even if I don't run it, to commentate it, I will hands down happily take that, because it was fantastic. Alongside that, the cutscene remove mod has now been put through as an actual category in
nice.
speedrun.com. I'm currently ranked 3rd on there with 3 hours 31 time. It's still good 10 minutes shy of 2nd, but it's a fantastic way to play, and anyone that would look to speedrun 9 in particular, the 9 CSR is phenomenally good and phenomenally well made, with a 5-minute break in the middle.
I'm really torn myself on what I'm going to do, because I'm going to do a speed run. And I think I'm actually going to save it for when 9 falls in my marathon. I think I'm going to do 7 and 8 first, and then when I get to 9, I'll do the speed run. But I don't know if I want to do CSR or if I want to do the old school,
Well, it depends on if you're going to speed run it and you've never speed run it before. The CSR is by far much more friendly. Because of the fact that if you make a mistake and you want to reset, you're only resetting. Say if you die at Sea Lion, for example, in cutscene remove, you're looking, that's a 20-minute reset. In a standard NMS run, a no major skip run, you're looking at that being 45 minutes. And the fact of going, you know what, done. Let's say, for example, you fail on nobles at the start of the game. If you're doing standard, that is 10 minutes in. If you're doing it on CSR, that is 3 minutes in.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing too, is what I'm thinking is this is gonna be my first time ever speedrunning anything. I've never done Final Fantasy IX or any speedrun ever before. So I might want to do something like CSR so that I might actually have a chance at doing a few tries. Like if I realize like 30 minutes in there, like this is terrible, I'm doing so awful, maybe we should try this again. Like I'd actually have that opportunity with CSR.
Well, here's the other thing. If you do standard and you're running at a slower pace, which is very possible for first time, and say you're looking at scraping the 12-hour mark, which is very possible, you might fall short of your Excalibur 2, which you will want because the last few fights are Steiner's damage is doubles. It's needed. Now in the CSR, the game time does stay at that 3-hour point to finish the game. Your in-game time is still really low. So even if you do take a long time, and it does take you 6 hours, whereas it would take the top runners the 3-hour point, you're still going to get Excalibur 2. Whereas if you double that and it's in standard, you may not actually get it.
See, I
So
remember
it's
when
much
we
friendly.
first started talking about Drew doing a speed run of 9, and he was like, well, maybe I'll just try, because he's never gotten the Excalibur 2, and it was like, well, maybe I'll just try and do an Excalibur 2 run. And then one day he woke up, like somebody had lit a fire under him, and he was like, well, Easley's got the notes. Like I can just do a real speed run.
Yeah.
Time for me to graduate.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not just gonna
Absolutely.
go for the Excalibur 2. We're gonna do a real legit speed run. I was like, do it.
I got
If
some
you
I
do
got some
a
time to think
real
about it.
one, well, a real one with the notes, even if you just follow the notes at a slower pace, you're gonna get it. You're gonna finish the run. It's much more friendly.
Yeah.
But-
Well, we'll see.
but-
I know that I'll be able to rely on you easily come maybe a few months from now when I make my decision. I'm sure you can give me the notes and the lowdown. You'll probably be #1 in the world by that point, right? So
That's the hope. I can always be in your ear on the background, and no one would ever know.
you'll be the oracle. No, honestly, I kind of want that. I kind of, from the beginning, I thought it'd be cool to have both you and Shoop in my ear. Like, no, don't do this, don't do that.
I would gladly give up my ear seat for like Keeper or Grim or somebody who's already ran it. I haven't ran it, so.
Well,
Anyway.
Well, the last bit I'll say about 9, I've had a challenge run redeemed in my channel recently when I did my 1-year and affiliate anniversary just last week. I have to do a all bosses run, which is a 12 to 14 hour speed run, rather than 7 hours. And
that includes optional bosses like
that
the super bosses,
includes
Hades,
Ozma,
Quail.
Hades, Quail,
Yeah.
everything along those lines. It's just it's a big run, and you have to do all the frogs. You've got to do all the you have to do all the chocographs. It's a lot of work.
Before we jump any further into some crazy stuff, a little bit of housekeeping. For starters, I see you guys are already taking advantage of the Moogle Mailbox. If you guys don't know what Moogle Mailbox is, it is our final segment in the show and is where we read off letters from the community. You guys can ask us Final Fantasy related questions, especially if it's related to something we're talking about, but we miss it in chat because this is a conversational podcast. We're going to miss a lot of what you guys say in chat. So if you want to make sure we see a question, utilize the Moogle Mailbox. We already have 4 letters in the mailbox, which is awesome. And I see a lot of you are already taking advantage of the EXP system. Shoop has 1,300 experience right now to my 400 and easily 300. I don't know what's going on. What is this all about?
Last month,
Favoritism.
Last month I got the least amount of experience, so maybe I'm just getting caught up to you guys.
I think you're campaigning in the background or something. Not a fan.
Yeah, I think so.
But I did, since we are leveling up and experience between levels is growing, we wanted to make sure you guys could keep up with that as well. So now you can do plus 50, plus 100, and plus 200 experience. You can do one of each on the episode. So make sure to utilize all 3 of those redemptions in giving out your experience. Looks like he's catching up.
He's just boosted.
I see how it is,
guys,
you guys.
don't
I
make
see
it
how
so
it is.
Drew, you're lagging behind there, Drew.
Yeah, a little bit.
You need to
Little
step
bit.
it up.
All this work.
Guys, don't make this so obvious. You know, shouldn't make it so clear.
That hurts you guys. Otherwise, we are on YouTube, of course, at youtube.com/Droogle. And more importantly, actually, I would say we're on Spotify and we're on Apple Podcasts. And we're really trying to push the podcast in that way right now because it is by far the best that I've experienced on a starter podcast. Our numbers are actually decent, which is something I've never experienced before in all my attempts at doing podcasts, which is awesome. Thank you so much to everybody that has checked us out and subscribed and rated us on the podcast services. It really does mean a lot. And I'm really hoping that this month it'll be our best yet, because we are doing some cool stuff tonight. We're going to talk about the 7 Rebirth trailer that just dropped very soon. But more importantly, we're going to be doing a Final Fantasy tournament to determine the greatest protagonist of all time. And the best part of that is that we are only a small slice of importance in this. You guys are going to be voting on every single battle. We did 32 on the Discord. You guys can check out the Discord by typing in !CB Discord in chat. But the remaining 32 battles of the 64 are happening during this show. It's a bracketed tournament, 1v1 on all these characters, and you guys are going to determine the outcome. It's going to probably take like a good hour and 15, hour and 30 minutes. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. I'm really excited to see where this community decides to go on the greatest Final Fantasy protagonist. It's going to get heated, I think, by the time we get to the end of it. But right now, let's move forward. Let's get into some crazy news from this month. It is time for the level update. First up, we got some great news. The Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Collection is doing incredibly well. It has now surpassed 3 million copies sold. You guys all played it as well a little bit, maybe? I know Shoop has easily. Have you touched it? Have you bought it?
I have bought it.
Okay,
And
that's
it is
something.
sat waiting for early October.
Okay. But you are one of the 3 million. James Lee, are you one of the 3 million?
I am on PS5, but I've not played them on PS5. When I did the marathon, I had to use 3 on PC. So I've dabbled with some of the Pixel Remaster, but not all of them.
It's of course this includes PS4, PS5, Switch, Steam, mobile. And that's why we have the poll in chat for you guys. Let us know what you decided to play it on. But I feel like, I mean, what do you guys think? I feel like those are some really great numbers for retro style Final Fantasy. For it to 3 million copies sold, I think is pretty damn good.
They are, but you know, the thing I keep thinking is they could have hit this number a long time ago. I never really understood why, when they did the original release, it was on Steam and mobile only. Why did they wait so long for the console?
I agree with you there.
Crazy. Yeah, so that was the only thing I thought kind of when I saw these numbers. I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense, but
I was one of the stubborn mules that refused to get it on Steam. I knew it was only a matter of time. It might take a while, but I'm a console gal at heart, and I waited and I waited and I waited. And I talked about this on my stream the other day, that as soon as it got a rating, I said, all right, that's it. It's definitely coming to console. And I'm glad that I waited, because I wanted my console experience with these Pixel remasters, and I finally got it. After being a patient, stubborn mule, I finally got the experience to have it on console.
Yeah. I'm excited for you too, Easily. Come October. I think you're going to enjoy it a lot.
I'm very much looking forward to it.
Which ones have you played again, of if any, of the old retro ones?
None.
Ooh. It's going to be really special.
I have been I've done all of 7 onwards, every single one. But I have not touched 1 to 6. And when I say all, I mean I have also played 11. Didn't like it, so I don't keep going. But
right. We have Final
1 to
Fantasy
6 I've not
16
touched.
up on screen, because we also had some news related to that this month. It's receiving a free update. Actually, already did. It is for some skins for Clive and for Jill, Torgal, Ambrosia, and Joshua. That's available right now. And it also allows you to change the weapon skin, which I think is really cool, because I know for myself, there were some weapons in that game that I was like, really? This is Excalibur? Like, I was expecting better. Come on now. So like, I'm glad that they allow you to equip a weapon and then be able to change the skin on that weapon. But the more important news is that they announced 2 paid DLC are in development right now, and we're going to get more information on that later in the year. James, you finished 16. How do you feel, without going to spoilers, of course, how do you feel about just the concept alone of there being 2 paid DLC for this?
I can think of what one of them is probably going to be around. You know, there's a plot point in the story as you go through, which I think will allude to what one of the DLC will be. I'm not really sure what the second could be though. So I've got a kind of good idea of one, but not the other. It's interesting. I'm looking forward to kind of picking them up and playing through them and seeing what they have. But I don't know if there's enough. The game felt like it kind of wrapped up, and there wasn't that much more to do.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think, Shoop?
I had to pin that message in chat because I wholeheartedly agree that the DLC won't be half as good as the content we get from Ben Starr's Twitter. I honestly, as far as what I want versus what I think we're gonna get, how should I answer this question? Good Lord, this does not want to stand up. Should I speak on what I think we're gonna get or what I would want?
As long as it's in vagaries, then I guess you could.
In vagaries. Okay. I mean, it's been mentioned. Well, no, I can't because I don't easily. It's not finished with the game, and so I think we get what we're gonna get, and I think we deserve to get some more backstory on certain icons that we haven't seen.
Yeah.
Icon or icons. 2 DLCs. I'm not sure what I would want to see or what I could possibly see in the second one. I'd like to see more things from Joshua's perspective over like the time skip type part. I don't know. I really don't know. It's all kind of speculation.
Yeah, I agree. There's certain like even visuals in the game, like landscape and things in the distance where it's like, I wonder what that is. Oh, you're not going to tell us. Okay. They kind of give you some like very small information, but there's certain things where I was like, oh, I'm really excited to see what this thing is, maybe from a story perspective now. So maybe that's going to be in the DLC. I've got an idea on definitely some directions they could go. I think my internal struggle is that when I finished the game, I agree with James to that. Like, I felt like there was closure. I definitely felt like the game wrapped up for the most part. There was a little bit of ambiguity that bothered me in the ending that I kind of feel like was there just for ambiguity's sake, not for anything beyond that. But more so, there's certain characters, like Shoop said, that I think deserved more. And I think that since it wasn't in the main game, to relegate it to DLC, as much as I think people will be happy to get that information, it's like, why wasn't this in the main game? You decided to load us up with 75 side quests that are kind of just bare bones information, no character development, fetchy quest type stuff. And you spent all this time doing that when you could have given us the information that we really wanted. You know what I mean?
So I am the icon of fire. I should not be fetching garlic for you.
I don't know. I like the side quests. I really got into them. I was like, yes, more side quests. Let's go. And really digging into them. I don't know. I kind of like just exploring the world and kind of seeing some of these side characters who are coming up in these side quests. They're not part of the main story, but they're just more lore building, more world building, and kind of seeing a bit more of what's going on there. But so I really liked the side quests, the hunts.
I like the hunts
in that game, but again, like I say, in terms of a paid DLC, I'm not sure there's much more that I need from a paid. I mean, I just saw in the chat, I think it was via Final Fantasy was saying toggle DLC. Maybe that I could get behind.
Yeah, I could definitely get behind that.
But no, there's not much more that I can think.
Let me ask you,
go ahead,
what would you lose from having a paid optional DLC?
You don't lose anything, don't get me wrong. I think it's sort of like, let's go to 15, for example. Nothing was lost by them doing episode Arden, episode Prompto, episode Ignis, but that doesn't remove the fact that, spoiler alert for 15, a certain character gets injured. Let's just say that. A certain character gets injured. You don't see how that character gets injured. Like, it's just like, oh, they're injured now.
Yeah.
I bet you it's going to be the DLC, isn't it? Guess what? It was the DLC. Like, that should have been in the game. Yep. That 100% was obvious that they separated that to put in the DLC. So, yes, we gained story, but it was story that should have been in the main game.
Well, originally, they said this was a complete game, didn't they, at first? And they've added DLC because of how well it was received. So, in an argument kind of statement, maybe the DLC is just additional, and it won't feel like it should have been, but could have been in the game.
I hate to say this, but do you think there's a possibility they're just saying that?
I think there's a possibility they've just seen the money aspect personally, but I mean, there is a very big chance that they've gone, oh, we missed this, maybe we should throw it in.
Yeah.
There is that as a very big
There,
chance.
there's certain things, especially if it's DLC, I'm gonna have a hard time believing that it wasn't something they wrote into the lore and all that of the main game and then decided not to put in. The Ultimania just came out. A lot of information coming out from the Ultimania. And I'm sorry, but some of the stuff I'm reading, I'm like, yo, why wasn't this in the game? Even in the active time lore, like that, you literally you have a system in the game for giving this information. You made it. It's called active time lore. Yet you still didn't put this vital information in it. I'm like, what? Like that's so bizarre to me.
I'm wondering if they cut a lot of things for time's sake, because that's another thing that we talked about with 16 is that it ended up going, for my personal tastes, I think it went on a little bit too long.
Like 30 hours too long?
Yeah, Drew and I have talked about this. Look, I had a lot of fun playing 16. I did. There were parts of it that really, and I'm brand new also to next gen gaming, so there were parts of this that just like blew my mind, right? But then there were those lulls that we talk about, and I feel like those lulls went on for a really, really long time, about midway through the game, where you're kind of like, all right, I'm ready to, carry on a bit. And those lulls that we got, I felt like at some point, I feel like the developers had to realize that this pacing was a little off, and maybe they just set some things aside and decided, like, look, this is just going to make the game even longer. We should probably just set this aside, and if the game is received well and people do want more, then we can release it as DLC. But I don't think that the game was incomplete by any means. I think it was a full game. Will playing the DLC be necessary to understand anything? No. Yeah, I really don't. To understand more? Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it was a complete game. I felt closure for the most part at the end. That was not my issue. It wasn't the problem that 15 had. Like 15 had a real problem at release with it feeling incomplete. 16 I never felt was incomplete. There's certain things that I do think probably were cut. That's very common in game development though. Like that's just par for the course. Like that happens in every game. I do think that certain things that I imagine were cut were things that I really would have liked to have more information on. But hey, I'm going to look at it as a positive if I do get that information in the DLC. There's a part of me that'll be like, oh, I wish you could have gotten this in there. But I'll also be like, yeah, okay, at least I got it. At least I got that information. It completes the experience even better now. But moving on, we did get a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer just an hour ago. And I would like to do another reaction to it now, if that's okay with you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, if you guys want to, pull it up on YouTube. The official Final Fantasy channel, of course, has it, because you're not going to be able to hear it when I play it. So I'm sure you guys would like to hear it again. That way we can follow along.
I have your stream open as well.
I can't, because I'm in the dining room on a laptop and my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't.
Okay, that's fine. Hold on a second. I'm gonna get us over to that one real quick. Let's see.
Everyone on your stream will be able to hear it and see it, though, right?
Everyone on stream will be able to hear
Okay.
it. That's right. Yeah.
Chief, you're in for a nice treat.
Let me crank the volume up a little bit here. All right. Let's see. All right, I think we're good. I'm gonna try this out. Is anybody pressing play when I do I need to do like a 3, 2, 1, or are you guys just watching it through stream?
Oh, I'm just gonna watch.
Okay, you're just gonna watch it through this. That's fine. All right. Let's do this then. Let's see. Boom. That is Final Fantasy. Here we go. Let's go.
That's what I was
Ending.
Here we go.
At least, that's what everyone's saying. This sky, I don't like it.
Ready to fire, sir. Welcome to the New World Order. Fire!
So good.
Just close your eyes and listen. Tell me you can't hear that. Her rallying cry.
How's your companion?
Planet runs out of energy. It and everything on it dies.
We can overcome our fate.
Am I the same as these monsters? Am I even human?
Okay, we're looking for Sephiroth. Think you can find him?
Oh, Sephiroth.
There's our
You see.
boy.
So you heeded the call
I love
too,
that the
did you?
Moogle's in it as well.
What are you
I
talking
know.
As you can see, your
I
brothers
love
down
the way
there
that the
are having a
fight
little
looks
get
like
together.
transitions so
about? Our best
seamlessly.
chance of finding Sephiroth.
Yeah. I ask because I suspect there's soldiers suffering from cellular degradation. Do not be deceived. You know the truth. Trust in me.
Sephiroth!
That looked like
Midgard's Olaf!
Come on!
I can't believe how much they showed.
The duo like attacks that they have.
Yep.
yeah.
On me.
Materia Keeper.
Yeah, but the Materia Keeper they're showing got Sephiroth fighting, which is weird.
Yeah.
Alexander! Gotta.
Yeah, true, isn't it?
I love how Cloud's just chilling and sitting down while everyone else is excited in this scene.
All three of the girls in the gondola with him too.
Well, that's their entrance in the gold saucer.
Theo.
I think that's not the thing.
That geeked me out. The boxing. Oh
Yeah,
my
I
god, the boxing.
Excuse
Wasn't
me.
just the hologram.
Could you look after my friend?
Yeah.
Just for a bit.
Here, help us.
But who do we think that is?
A weapon?
Someone on my Discord earlier was saying they think
Said only
it's,
to appear when the
someone
planet
from
is in
First
grave
Soldier.
danger.
But I
The
don't know.
emerald
Dares
looks
disturb
really
my slumber. It's upon us. The reunion. When worlds merge. I'm waiting.
The CGI. It's so good. And it's coming on February 29th, you guys. All right, so I'm going to let it play in the background without volume here so we can kind of talk about it a little bit. So first, let me just say, I feel like they showed so much more than I was expecting them to. Like,
yes.
it goes, and it also goes a lot further into the story than I was expecting it to, based on what we're seeing
I didn't
here.
expect to see weapons yet.
Right.
I thought it would end with them possibly.
I don't think that's a real weapon. I think that's either a vision like they had with the meteor in the first game, or it's a VR thing. Is
Could
what
be.
I'm thinking. Yeah, like maybe Bugenhagen doing the kind of lecture of this is the planet and there's weapons in the planet and here's in my holographic globe what a weapon looks like. I think that's.
You think that's
More
more
what I think that
shenanigans, is what you think it is.
I think that's in
Have
Cosmo. Is what we're saying.
The
That.
green of the live stream, it did. So is it because I think that it showed the medical room from Medial. So
I thought
is
that
it
too. Yeah.
It did look
is it
like that, yeah.
potentially in the Medial section when obviously some things happen with Cloud, which we're not
It's
gonna
so
say,
hard to
but-
talk about this, yeah. But
is
yeah,
it
that's
potentially
really
there?
far though. That's so far in the story that I really didn't think they were going to get there, because that is a moment, without going too far, where there's a big change in control of the game. I'll just say that. And that might be an interesting stopping point actually for the game, and starting part 3 with this very different perspective, I'll say. So that could be interesting if that's how they decide to end it in that area.
Well, it kind of makes me feel like they're going to go all the way up until the events with that live stream, and it will end with essentially Cloud after it, as it because it's Rebirth. That is, you get what I'm trying to say. I hope.
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Without me trying to spoil anything at all.
Talk about
Are we
things that
talking
aren't
about, like-
really. Go ahead, shoot.
I was saying, are we talking about like the City of the Ancients thing?
No, a bit
No.
further.
Yeah.
I have only played through the OG7
I think
all
it
the way through
will.
one.
I think
so.
we'll fly past that. I do.
Oh yeah, we're definitely getting past City of the Ancients. No way we're not getting past that.
If-
Like
if
this is
we-
going far.
If we potentially are seeing weapons, we are getting a fair bit further.
We got a little bit of Zack stuff in here too, which would imply that we're getting, and you saw that it was Zack handing Cloud off there, which
Well,
goes with the direction at the following the end of 7 Remake, a new direction. So that's interesting.
I saw between the trailer dropping and now, I had seen some speculation in other Discords that might imply that things are very much going to be out of order.
They did already say that, so yeah, that wouldn't be surprising at all that they're going to have to move some things around in the story. I think one of the things that I know a lot of people speculated on prior to this trailer was going to be the treatment of Zack and his perspective in the game, because we're getting into a little bit of 7 remake stuff here, but the end kind of changes things from the original. Just to put it out there, there's some changes at the end of remake from the original, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, I think that was just like a branching off point. We're not going to see that anymore." But this trailer confirms that we do. Like we're seeing that Cloud's storyline is continuing. We're seeing, of course, his storyline continuing, but we're also seeing what we have to call kind of like flashbacks. There's stuff from earlier, before 7 remake even took place, but it's an optional, it's an alternative scenario because Zack never dropped off Cloud in the OG. So let's just say that. So they're clearly giving us 2 different storylines running in tandem here. So that kind of already it debunks a lot of the theories that I saw following 7 remake. That kind of gets us more down a path of dual timelines.
B in chat did say that it's an interview with Nomura that just released on the PlayStation blog that they actually released an article. It says where it ends.
Wait, where 7 Rebirth ends?
She's just asked if we want the link because might have been
Yeah,
posted
sure.
since we went live. So
Yeah.
I just said yes. The only thing I hope is that we if the story is mixed, that it at least flows fluidly. That's all I really want when it comes to a different story.
Yeah.
Right,
That's
so
my
B
concern
just
as well.
sent us the link.
Yeah, because I think my concern there was a lot shown. There's a lot of locations that they've kind of crammed in here, and 2 timelines as well. Going through all of these locations, presumably, are we going to be snapping back and forth between timelines? It's 2 discs.
That's the big question.
Are they going to do 2? One disc is one timeline, one disc is the other. It's
Possible.
I'm not really. Trying to get my head around how they're going to structure these things and not lose the pacing of the story that they're trying to build. So it's going to be an interesting one to see how they pull it off.
All right, so there's a lot. Okay, it looks like it's a final question. 7 Remake showed the story up until the escape from Midgard, but what point does 7 Rebirth take us up to? Nomura says, we have mentioned this a few times, but the order in which you can explore the locations is not the same as the original Final Fantasy VII, and there are some shifts in the order. For example, Wutai, one of the major locations, is not part of the route in 7 Rebirth and will be visited in the next one. Interesting. Okay. Although there are some changes in the order of locations depicted in this title extend up to the Forgotten Capital, where the greatest fate. Oh, yeah.
Wutai being in the last part actually doesn't surprise me. But given the way that they bring up Wutai a lot more in remake than they did in OG, so that doesn't surprise me.
I hate that I had this like visceral reaction. I couldn't help myself. I got this like visceral reaction just to reading that it goes up to the Forgotten Capital. Okay.
And that's what it says. It says extends up to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, I had a very
Yeah.
Well,
hard not to have a reaction to that.
I read it at the same time as you did. I had scrolled down and got to that point right as.
Okay.
B,
Question is, what is
sending
the new
us
fate? Is there a new fate? It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. I need to read that entire interview. There's a lot there. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to wait to jump into that until after. We're going to break. We're all going to break. Real quick, go back to what you were saying, James. I love that they did the Moogle with Kate Sith. I wasn't sure if they were going to, because we saw him previously riding Red 13, but no, we got the Moogle. We got mountain chocobos, which are black chocobos. We got flying chocobos.
We have a segue.
Well. But more importantly, I want to focus on the flying chocobos because we're not going to get an airship in this one, I imagine. But this could be their solution with very wide open zones to allow us to fly in those zones. We're going to use the chocobo, which I think is a good solution for now. And I wonder if the third part goes all in and gives us an airship somehow. I don't know how they do it, but
I don't remember blue chocobos flying or green chocobos
They
flying.
didn't.
No,
They didn't.
The blue of that color was for like rivers and shallows.
And green was for mountains, right?
It
right.
was yes.
black could run on water, right?
Yeah, black could do,
because that's how you get to the island.
Gold.
You needed
gold
you needed a
chocobo was one
gold
that
to
could
You
get
fly.
needed the gold, to get there.
No, you couldn't fly with any of them on 7. So 7 did the deep water and could go up on any terrain. Black couldn't go deep water. I think that was the difference.
Okay.
If I remember rightly, because it was gold that did you had to get gold to get Knights of the Round, short of doing something else. But black was just the same as red.
The poll in chat for you
Sorry,
guys.
I'm trying to think at the minute.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on it myself at the moment. While
I
we're
thought
kind
you-
of thinking there is one thing. I mean, we talked about what we've seen. You know, we've seen Kate Sith, we've seen Vincent, we've seen the different types of chocobos and the buggy, but there was one character in there that we didn't see, and that's Sid.
Yeah,
They didn't
you're
show
right.
anything about Rocket Town or Sid or anything that happens in that location. So whether they're saving him for a future trailer or just kind of drop him in the game, I don't know. But he didn't get a look in this trailer, considering how much they showed us.
Mhm.
I think
It-
they're gonna save him for another trailer. They gotta
Right,
have
might as well,
another
right?
character for another trailer. We got Kate
I
Sith and we got Vincent.
I think he'll be the final part. I don't think he'll be this part. If they're going up to Forgotten City, I know the order might be different, but the events of the game past Forgotten City involve Sid a lot more. And so I feel he'll be integral in the last part. But as well as that, as we mentioned off before, Vincent wasn't in the list of playable. Is he playable? Is he not?
Mhm. Yep. If you're looking at the voice actors and all that, they don't list them at all in the recent. It wasn't in the blog post that I was just looking at, but there was something else that I can't remember where it was from. It might have been on the official website. It was on the official Square Enix website that listed a lot of characters from today. Yeah, Vincent wasn't on there at all. So that is interesting. I think we have to wait for that. I think that we had one trailer reveal Kate Sith. We've now had another trailer reveal Vincent. It would make sense. There's going to be another trailer. We're still several months away from this. So there could be one more trailer that does the reveal for Sid.
I don't think they will. What I think they're going to do is what they did with Yuffie. They'll do him as DLC, is what I reckon. They'll keep him out and then they'll DLC him. Yeah, that's my theory, but I'm willing to be proven wrong.
Yeah, yeah. We did see also a young Cloud with a Sephiroth there, by the way, in the trailer. We didn't talk about that. So I think we're gonna get that flashback. I think that's gonna be the start of the game myself. I think you start the game with the flashback controlling young Cloud and Sephiroth both in battle. I think, which would be wild right off the bat. To start the game that way is gonna be such a crazy start.
But it surprises me that we see the two of them fight Materia Keeper when in OG they fight a red dragon.
Right.
But same location, so
Materia
I'm not
Keeper happens
opposed.
what, in the Mithril Mines? Where does Materia Keeper
yeah,
happen?
it's basically on your way out of Nibelheim.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm
yeah,
not opposed at all. Not opposed at all to them fighting Materia Keeper because it's the same location. But it's very surprising because it showed Cloud and Sephiroth having a synergy combo,
Right.
which is insanely cool.
Yeah.
Like that's mind blowing to me.
I feel like there's still a bunch of stuff I missed, honestly. I feel like I need to watch it a few more times, but we'll have to save that for later. You guys, I think we're tied between spectacular and outstanding, I believe, with the poll.
There were no bad options, which was perfect.
Oh, really? Oh, that's weird. Sorry.
It was like perfect, spectacular, outstanding, wonderful, beautimous.
Might be a little biased.
I'm
Sorry.
I need to interject one little thing. Why has Shoop hit 2,000 experience before Droogle hit 1,000?
And they say women don't have it easy on Twitch. Anyway, moving on, you guys. Hironobu Sakaguchi.
You can. Never mind. Go ahead.
Hironobu Sakaguchi talked a little bit about Final Fantasy 16 this past month, saying, I think Final Fantasy is something that continues to evolve. It is never completed. Adventurous courage and determination are the keywords. And he said that 16 is the ultimate fantasy, Final Fantasy. I think he's kind of saying, more than anything, kind of without going to spoilers, that the end of the game kind of alludes to that as well. And I think someone's supposed to like stamp home that like, this is Final Fantasy. It's still Final Fantasy. You know what I mean? Like, it's the ultimate fantasy. Like, I know a lot of people are, oh, it cut this, it cut that. And I think Hironobu Sakaguchi is kind of placing his, foot on one side or the other and saying like, no, this is Final Fantasy. You know what I mean? So I thought it was kind of cool that he brought that up. Of course, Sakaguchi is a huge Final Fantasy 14 fan, so no surprise that he probably is really enjoying 16 as well, since it came from a lot of that team. You know what I mean? But I actually had a question for you guys. I'm going to put a poll in chat as well, and we're going to bring this to our crystal bearers. What vibe do you want for Final Fantasy 17? Do you want classic high fantasy, steam, diesel punk, trash punk, like all the different types of punks, you know what I mean? Do you want modernistic, like 8, for example, or 15? Do you want sci-fi focus, something more like 13, or maybe something completely different? I think 10 kind of falls into something completely different.
What is steam diesel punk defined as?
It's
Like
hard to explain. Like
cyberpunk?
6 has a little bit of steampunk to it, diesel punk to it. 7 has a little bit of that, a little bit of trash punk. It's hard to.
I just imagine that like everything smells like the Midgar slums.
Yeah,
A little bit. It's like high tech, but powered by you have like lots of pipes and steam and like old fashioned aesthetic to it, kind of thing.
Give you a little bit grimy, depending on the type of punk. A little bit grimy, a little bit gritty. Yeah, it's hard to like really describe, I guess. But I would say 6 and 7 kind of, I guess, would fall the most into that of the group. Even though 9 has the steam powered airships and all that, I think 9 is more kind of traditional high fantasy. But let's start with easily. What do you want easily?
Because we haven't had one since 13 to this degree, I'd like one that follows a similar kind of vibe of 8 and 13 to add a nice variety back into the mix, get a bit of diversity between how we've progressed. We've gone from obviously the way that 15 is to a very medieval kind, and then it'd be nice to have this nice futuristic style. I personally would like to see that. With regards to content, I really don't have a preference. I just would like a vibe of 8 and 13 for this one.
Okay. Shoop, what about you?
I kind of was thinking about it, and I don't really want to categorize. I voted for other, because I don't really want to categorize anything into classic high fantasy, sci-fi fantasy, or steampunk diesel. I would rather. I want a nice balance of everything, and I think that's one thing that I loved about 10. I know I always bring up 10, but it's that you got the futuristic, the modernized with like Dreams Zanarkand, and then you get the mechanical thing when you're introduced to Machina from the Al Bhed, but you also get the classic like no Machina, like living on the beach, like everybody's actually reading books instead of being on their tablets kind of thing, with like the way Yevon follows things. I really love that balance of all of it being able to be combined into one world. Do I want it to be exactly like 10? No, but I want that theme of balance.
Yeah, I
from all
gotcha.
different sides.
James?
Yeah, I agree, and I think 16 did a little bit of that as well. You have, without going into plot details or anything, but you have ruins and things around the world that allude to a previous civilization. I mean, for me, I would always lean towards classic high fantasy. That's kind of my thing. I kind of like playing those sorts of games. But with Final Fantasy in particular, I like to be surprised, though, almost. So in the poll, I'd probably say other, because whilst I've got that kind of leaning towards high fantasy, I kind of want to see. I kind of want to be surprised by it. I want to start up and be like, okay, I didn't expect this. This is kind of new and exciting kind of thing. So
I think the series has done high fantasy so much, and I'm the same way. I would gravitate towards more of a high fantasy, but they've already done it so many times,
Yeah. For me, I think I'm actually in Shoop's camp here, where if I had a preference, it'd be something I haven't seen before entirely. Just because I like to be surprised, like James, and I think one of the strengths of Final Fantasy is that it does so often reinvent itself, as I brought up many times on the show. So I kind of want something where it's like, oh wow, this is unlike any Final Fantasy we've ever seen before. This is so cool. I think I'd probably prefer to be something a little bit more quirky and weird, and so I do kind of think more of like a 10 or an 8 even, just something different. I just want to see a lot of weird elements that kind of speak to new blood within Square Enix, I guess you could say. I want to feel like, okay, these are some like up and comers or something. This is like some fresh blood coming in here and coming in with new ideas. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I hope to see when they reveal 17. I hope it's not more of 16. As much as 16 is fine. I like the atmosphere of 16. I think it's a little too dire and not enough levity. But it's more so that I just like each mainline entry to differ from what came before. So I don't want them to do 2 of the same atmosphere in a row. So
I hope they go, yeah, I agree, a different direction. But I feel like that's Final Fantasy's pattern. They never put out 2 games in a row that have the same thematic elements. They just
Yeah.
don't. Like even 3 and 5 being job system games, they put something else in between them, did something different.
Yep, that's Final Fantasy. And our final story of the day here, 7 Remake might actually be coming to Switch 2 as well, we're finding out, based on some leaks and all. To be believed, I don't know, but WCCF Tech writes that I'm a Hero 2, a pretty reliable leaker, says that the leaks did not come from them and so should be considered unreliable. So take this all with a grain of salt. At the same time, the leaker provided some new information on the next Nintendo console, saying that the dev kits have been in the hands of developers for a while. The console is backwards compatible, and it will come with new cartridges as well as a new camera feature. Interestingly enough, these Nintendo Switch 2 may be powerful enough to run Final Fantasy VII Remake as well as the PS5 does, and could be a launch title. So the reason that it is being talked about as being running as well is because supposedly it's using one of the more recent DLSS upscaling features, and that is allowing it to probably actually render at 720p but upscale very what would be the word, it's not losing a lot of detail in its upscaling due to DLSS up to 1080p or maybe even 4K. It's 1440p, who knows. I think it depends on if it's docked or not docked in whatever comes with Switch 2. But they've even talked about the Matrix demo, that Unreal Engine 5 Matrix demo that came out on PS5. That thing was crazy looking, and supposedly even that is running on the Switch 2 using DLSS. So this thing could be very interesting, and I think what's great is this will allow some of the upcoming titles like Rebirth and future Final Fantasy games to not just release on PS5 or Xbox, but to release on Nintendo consoles as well. This has been a long time, right, since it's been able to be that way, because they're always trying to push boundaries. Final Fantasy especially is this series that is known as a graphical powerhouse, and for that reason it hasn't released on Nintendo consoles, because they're usually at least a generation behind. But if they've got some type of mechanic in place that'll allow them to match that with DLSS, maybe we do see a lot of these big releases coming to Nintendo day one, and we get back to the days of old, Nintendo getting mainline Final Fantasy. I think that would be really cool. What do you guys think? James?
If they have the capability to do it, then there's no reason not to, unless for whatever reason the big guys up in the CEO seats or some shit, like, excuse my language, don't, the console wars. I just feel like these games should be accessible to everyone regardless of what console you're playing on, and if they have the technology to do so, I think it should be a thing, and it would be nice. It would just, the accessibility option, and that's one thing that I love about, like, even going back to the Pixel remasters, is there's so many games, because I didn't grow up on Nintendo, I grew up on PlayStation as a kid, that I just didn't have access to. And now these games are accessible on other devices. Let people game. Let people game on whatever they choose to play on.
Agreed.
I will say, if it is playable on the Switch 2, it's going to be incredibly surprising in terms of hardware. Given that Breath of the Wild is not taxing, and there's a place in Breath of the Wild where the Switch cannot cope.
Well, keep in mind, we're talking about Switch 2 here. We're not talking about regular Switch.
Oh, I know that, but Nintendo famously, of more recent years, have not focused on high-powered console. They've focused on efficiency, portability, reliability. The focus for them seems to be those that game less frequent, more mobility, or younger. So unless they're changing their target audience, I don't see them having the capability. But that being said, I'd like to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
I would love for a Switch to be able to handle it.
It's a handheld, so right off the bat, you just can't put the technology in a handheld that you can into a console. You don't have the room for it. But that is why, software like DLSS is kind of a miracle. Like, this is going to change everything. If we can have games render at 720p or 1080p and then upscale accurately to 4K where you can't even notice the difference, that is going to completely change everything. James, go ahead. I can tell you're going to speak there.
Yeah. I mean, from my perspective, there's just too much ambiguity, I think. I mean, at this point, we're saying we're talking about the lineup for a console that hasn't been announced and we don't know its specs. So there's already like, you know, a number of things that we don't know that kind of pile up into how far can you trust what you're thinking here. And I had the same point that Easily made as well, which is Nintendo's strategic direction has for a long time now not been performance. The last console they had, which really targeted performance, and in their marketing they really pushed the kind of, you know, this is top tier console, it was the N64. You know, that's how far back you have to go for performance from Nintendo. Their whole spiel is fun gameplay, you know, and that's why you ended up with the Wii with the controls, and you've got the Switch with the Joy-Cons, and that's their whole thing. Now, to balance that, Crisis Core Reunion did come out on Switch as well.
Yeah.
And Remake is relatively old now. I mean, it came out on the PS4 originally. I mean, a lot of us are playing it on PS5. We're playing kind of the upscaled version, but the original version of Remake was PS4. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that they could do that, and it would be a very kind of easy, in quotes, launch title for a potential Switch 2. But for me, there's just too many unknowns around it right now. No confirmed hardware, no confirmed announcement that there will even be a Switch 2, but we're talking about the lineup of launch games. I can't put those together.
To be clear, the launch thing is purely speculation based on them showing it running on the hardware. The fact that it's running on the hardware doesn't mean they're going to release it on the console. They showed it running because maybe it was sort of a tech demo to say like, hey, look at this game that runs this way on PS5. Let's show you how it runs on Switch 2. It runs pretty similarly, doesn't it? So it could have just been purely a tech demo, and people are speculating, ooh, maybe it's a launch title. I think if I had to say, I don't know it's going to be a launch title, but I'm going to go Team Real on this one. I do think we're going to see 7 Remake eventually on Switch 2, and I think Sony would be a lot more comfortable putting Final Fantasy on Nintendo than they would be on Xbox, if I'm being honest with you.
Yes.
And I think that one of my biggest fears for a long time when it comes to like acquisition of Square Enix, which is certainly going around right now with the $2 billion loss in valuation based on a stock market, that they're open for acquisition or, you know, potential for that to happen. If Nintendo were to buy them, my concern was always, oh man, but that's going to result in the graphical fidelity being lowered tremendously in comparison to what I'm used to for Final Fantasy. That was always my concern.
That's what Beard said in chat, was that Nintendo has taken performance to the side and focused on innovation.
Right. So for me, in all honesty, I think Nintendo was the worst case scenario for me as far as acquiring Square Enix, because if I think if Nintendo were to acquire Square Enix, you're not seeing Final Fantasy go anywhere else. It's just on Nintendo. And because name one other Nintendo first party franchise that goes anywhere. Xbox is literally everywhere, and PlayStation is moving towards that. They're putting games, you know, 1 year later on PC. They acquired Bungie, and all of Bungie's games are going wherever Bungie wants them to go. They said from the moment they acquired Bungie that Bungie's allowed to do whatever the heck they want. So I think if Sony were to acquire Square Enix, we don't have to worry about that. I don't know that Square Enix is going to be acquired. I'm not saying yes or no, but I'm just saying that I feel a little bit more comfortable now, at least, that if Nintendo were to acquire them, maybe it doesn't mean that the graphical fidelity takes a huge dip. Maybe we can still see graphical powerhouses in the Final Fantasy franchise with Nintendo owning Square Enix, but that's something for a later discussion. One more additional leak I want to talk about here is that 9 Remake was supposed to be summer 2024, according to the same leaker. That is what they're saying. They have no idea if that has changed, but they don't think it has, because when they saw it, they said literally the only thing this game needs is polishing. Sounds like when they saw it, it was very far
The
away.
world's ending.
Ooh, let me pause that for a second. Hold on a second.
At least, that's what everyone's saying.
Apologies. The old the 7 Rebirth trailer started playing again in the background. So we'll have to wait and see.
It heard you say the word remake, and I was like, oh, you called?
It wanted to play again. So going back, Final Fantasy X Remake and 10-3 also were talked about by this same leaker. They said that 10 Remake has literally like a skeleton crew right now. Not a lot of people working on it at all. Small development team, and for that reason, they said this game is not making the anniversary year of 2026. I know that was the original rumor, was that 10 Remake's being worked on right now because they want to get it out by 2026 for the 25th anniversary. If we are to believe this leaker, they don't think that's happening. But it is in development. We'll have to wait and see.
I'll believe anything in development when we get an official announcement. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Right.
That's my view with 9
We
Remake
all
as well.
hope and really would be excited, and it'd be so cool. And we will all hear speculation from a million different angles on the internet. But at the end of the day, I will believe it when I see it from an official source.
All right. Moving on. We're a little behind, especially because of our crash at the beginning. Let's get into our next segment of the show. Of course, it is time for the equation of the month. You guys can get on our Discord at discord.gg/Droogle. There is a category within the Crystal Bears, or I should say there's a channel within the Crystal Bears category where we will pose a question to you guys each month, and we'll take as many of those responses as possible and feature them here on the show. This month, considering the focus on best Final Fantasy protagonists, as you guys know, for the tournament, which protagonist throughout the series would you say that you've connected with the most on a personal level? This is not to say that the character is your favorite character, just that you are most connected with their story, development, and journey. I'm going to give it to
Journey.
Easily first. Easily. Let's just go in order here. Let's go down from the top, if you could, please. Let's just go one at a time.
Okay, so Taser responded with, I think I mentioned this in Shoop's Final Fantasy IX channel the other day, but I really connect with Vivi. He's a character who struggles with identity, PTSD, depression, anxiety, self-worth, confidence, belonging. These are all things I greatly struggle with right now, and seeing Vivi's journey help him grow braver and stronger gives me hope. He's incredibly relatable, and I only hope I can come out on top too. There are other traits I like to think I carry that other protagonists have, but on a less general, more personal level, I do resonate a lot with the little black mage.
Best boy.
Yeah, I really like that answer, actually. It shows exactly how you align with the way that you relate to Vivi, and I'd like to hope that's something you can achieve. That's really, that's a lot, that is, actually.
We're rooting for you, Taser.
Yeah, that self-searching journey, man.
Yeah. Shoop, you're up.
This is kind of perfect because normally we don't go down the list. We just like pick and choose. And this is actually the one that I had hoped I got to read. So Logan said, I've always related to Garnett's story growing up. I was one of those kids whose parents kind of decided my future and career for me, as I was pretty much just asked to follow the path. To that, I ended up studying medicine and going on to be a doctor, despite really never having the passion for the job. About 7 years ago, I finally just broke free and decided to follow my own path, despite how crazy everyone thought I was, leaving a stable career that I'd been studying and working at for over a decade. But I escaped my castle, and I found my own Zidane in the wonderful girlfriend I have now, and I'm in a career I absolutely love. Funnily enough, I'm looking to go back into medicine, but on the management side of it, to try and make life better for doctors and patients alike. Not so unlike Garnett there, too, I suppose.
I love that. That's great.
I always thought it was wild that he was just like, you know what? I don't want to be a doctor anymore.
Right? Pretty,
and that was
crazy.
That was very much Garnett. Was like, I don't want to just be a princess stuck up in this castle anymore. I want to actually, my life needs more meaning than this.
I love that. That's
very
awesome.
Courageous.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
James, if you could take the next one.
Yeah, Silly Music Girl responded. I related to Pain from 10-2 the most, being an outcast, being misunderstood, almost kind of feared in a way. She has a hard time expressing their emotions, and she's sometimes hard to relate to in the eyes of other characters. That's a bit of Pain's character development is almost stunted a little bit in that way, because she's built so many walls around herself. You don't really get to explore her as a character until you get quite deep into the game, and I think for some parts of her story, you have to do kind of quite a lot of side stuff just to kind of get that glimpse into who she is. So, yeah, I can see that and relate to that a little bit. So that's a good answer.
Thank you, Silly. Moving on, we got Adu Beard. I think it's Adu Beard, is how you say it.
Addo Beard.
I think I saw him say recently it's Adu Beard, instead of So I thought that was interesting.
I always just say beard.
Beard. If you're in chat, please let me know. Honestly, the one I relate to with the most is Terra in Final Fantasy VI. Growing up, I was always the odd one out with my hearing loss and being a cancer survivor in a tiny town with no one like me anywhere to be seen. And then there's Terra, whose entire journey is about trying to find her place in the world where there's no one who is like her anywhere to be seen. Tying into this, when Terra meets Celis, she asks Celis, have you loved anyone? Hinting at her struggles to figure out love and belonging in the world. even with meeting someone who shares some of her own uniqueness, she still couldn't relate, which is something I would feel repeatedly when meeting others with hearing loss or are deaf. So oftentimes I would meet someone who was mildly hearing impaired, but wouldn't even need something like closed captions, or I would meet someone who is deaf and is fully part of the deaf culture and community, but never someone who was in between the two extremes. In addition, Tara's own struggle with mental health over belonging followed my own struggles with depression and anxiety. While it took the end of the world for Tara to find her family, I am thankful that it didn't take that from me, as I have found, for the most part, my little niche in the world and people to care for and love. That's nice. Yeah. I'm glad that you found that, Beard. Very glad that you found that.
It's Adobeard.
Adobeard.
Adobeard, yeah.
Adobeard.
Like adobo, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Adobeard. Okay. Very cool. Thank you for that. And thank you for the response. That was a fantastic response. And now obviously I'm going through 6 as well. I remember these specific moments you're bringing up, and even though I can't specifically relate to them, I can understand how they would impact you. And I think that's fantastic that it was a good inspiration on you. I think I love that. Back to you, Easily.
Okay, so Nerd Smash responded, the Final Fantasy protagonist I connected with the most was surely Squall Leonhardt. At the time in my life when I first played Final Fantasy VIII, I was very quiet, made very few friends, got in my head and in a monologue a lot, and I liked the color black. I know, shocker, where is the blue? I'm getting there. Though Squall at first just seemed like a jerk, he eventually gets fleshed out, and I found more and more of myself in him as I played. Game had me rooting for him hard at the end, and to see that big smile and kiss got me emotional for a video game for the first time. The journey really got me out of my shell, and I took more risks in life. I trusted others more and more, made close friends, even tried the new color out, blue. I blame Squall partially for that with the stunning ultimate weapon, Lionheart, which coupled with one of the greatest fantasy weapons in history, the Gunblade, was out of this world. The other half goes straight to Renoa freaking heartily and her blue outfit, beautiful self, leaving me shook and always looking out to the stars from a very own Blue Angel. Thanks, Squall and Final Fantasy VIII. I owe who I am to you.
It's crazy how
any of you-
impactful these
yeah.
games are on us, right?
For any of you who knows Nerd Smash, you know that he absolutely adores Final Fantasy VIII.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, I hope he is actually doing well. If he listens to this, he's very much struggling at the minute, but please hope you're doing well.
Definitely. And Shu, please take their final response here.
I think we should let James take it because the one he read was rather short. I think you should
Okay.
take the last one.
Go ahead, James.
Okay, well, this last response is from Hoshi. Considering Tactics is my all-time favorite game, I do aspire to be like Ramza, but the protagonist I relate myself most towards is actually Cloud. Struggling to stay strong when deep anxieties hold you down, having expectations not only from others, but yourself, and just take it like you don't care. But in reality, all you want to do is just exist and be yourself. I may not have a rival that looms over my shoulder at every turn, but I do know what it feels like to have shadows that make you feel like they're playing into your hands. And all you want to do is break free from it all and simply be.
Powerful. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely Cloud.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Cloud's such a, as far as the entire series goes, Cloud is one of the most mentally impacted characters in the series. Like he's really dealing with a lot mentally, especially as you get further in the game, you realize that. So I'm sure a lot of people really connected with that. I played 7 when I was like 7, so I think it was a little over my head at the time. But nowadays I look at that character and I'm like, oof, man, yeah.
But I think we all go through it to some degree, don't we? It's kind of one of those, with Cloud, it's obviously a lot more extreme, that kind of identity crisis of who am I and, where have I come from and all of that sort of thing. But, as everyone grows up, as everyone matures and you kind of become an adult, and even as you mature as an adult, you're always changing and you're always kind of changing your outlook on life and your position in it. So, yeah, I can see what Hoshi's saying in there. It's a good answer.
Rabo in chat says, turns out being a Final Fantasy protagonist is not great for one's mental health. Maybe not. I don't know if that's going to play into the tournament or not.
The internal and external grief that these characters all seem to develop throughout the game and always, for the most part, overcome. you know.
Right. Yep. That's the important part, right? That they overcome it at the end typically.
Mhm.
I'm sure if I dove in, I'm sure there's some that don't, but most do at least. Most overcome it eventually. That is the equation of the month. Thank you so much to those who take part in it. Of course, get on the Discord at discord.gg/Droogle, and we'll post another question for you guys in the upcoming week for you to answer and maybe be featured on next month's episode of Crystal Bearers. And with that, after talking about some great protagonists, we're now going to pit them against each other.
Ping your discords. Now is the time to get everybody here. If they get mad that their favorite protagonist didn't win and then they didn't vote, then they
Yep.
have nothing to be mad about.
The more people we have here, the more accurate this is going to be to the Final Fantasy community. We need as many
Yes.
people here as we can possibly have. So before we get into the upcoming battles, I feel like we should talk about the battles that already happened on the Discord and just kind of do a quick synopsis. So let me switch over here to this, and I'm going to pull up this bracket full screen for you guys and zoom in a little bit. Hopefully we can follow along okay. There we go. I'll kind of go down here. So first off, we had Cloud versus Furion. Cloud did win. I don't think we need to really talk too much about that one. Prompto versus Galuf. Galuf took it against Prompto from Final Fantasy 15. Good on Galuf. I thought that was really neat, actually. Galuf, of course, from Final Fantasy 5. And I get it. Galuf had a big moment in that game. I'm not going to speak specifically to what it was, but that was a big moment and one of the most ambitious moments at that point in the franchise. So I think people connected with that in a big way. Garnet absolutely decimated Edge, which I don't think that's too much of a surprise. Edge really comes in late in that game, so it doesn't have a lot to the character. Barrett's
Who's your last side
Go
of
ahead.
character? I was saying no, nothing important.
Edge is the last side character, yeah. This was the closest battle at this point. Barrett barely took out Kane to move on to round 2. That was a tough one, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, Kane's a very it's an adored character for sure.
He's
think
the
that
OG
was the
Dragoon,
first-
isn't he? He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
He's the OG, like, Dark Knight.
Yeah, so that was a big one.
First one where we had Crystal Bearer influence.
No, not yet.
That was
Not
later,
yet.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. We only had one that technically had full Crystal Bearer influence. There was only one. After that, Tifa really handedly beat Kamari, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Shoop. I know you love Kamari.
I'll accept defeat with that one. It's understandable.
Yeah. Renoa took out Hope easily, 21-4. Zack took out Emmerich, the first character in the tournament from 14. And I like Sir Emmerich, but Zack, it's funny. Zack, some people like Zack more than Cloud. And I'm curious to see how that plays out in this tournament. Zack is a beloved character. Speaking of 7, we had 2 7 characters pitted off against each other here. Red 13 had to take out Sid Highwind, 19-10. I think that's the right choice, I have to say. Got to go with Best Boy Red on that one there. But I think
Now
Sid
you know
is
why
also a little
Sid's not in the
problematic.
trailer. Yeah.
Maybe. After that, Vivi took out Cyan 22-6. I would argue Vivi is going to be one of the favorites in this tournament. We'll have to wait and see.
Yep.
Yuffie, this was a close one. This was a really close one. Yuffie took out Shadow 15-13.
Battle of
2
the
ninjas. Yeah, the battle of the ninjas
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That was a close one. Yuffie took it though.
I'll give it
Squall.
either way.
Squall did make it. Zarkano. And if Nerd Smash was here, you'd be happy to know that Squall took out Saz in Battle 11, 23-8. Locke took out Waka, son of a shoe puff. Zidane took out Bosch von Ronsenberg from 12. That was pretty dominant there. Zidane with a major lead. Ferris was beaten. This is the first, I think this might be the first battle. Nope, sorry, it's the second battle where the lower seed won. But Ferris was taken out by Estinian. Estinian's got a big following from 14, it turns out. Another Dragoon. I like to call him Edge Stinian. It's an edgy guy. But he took out Ferris pretty easily. This one shocked me to my core. Clive barely beat Fran from 12.
It was very, very close. And
Very
I feel like
close.
if Clive had bunny ears, I don't know if it would have been as close.
Fran's the favorite of Viera, isn't she? So
I did not expect that at all. I like Fran just fine, but I feel like Balthier is like the favorite from 12, right? And I know Fran's like the sidekick, but Fran does not have a lot going on in that game for the most part, in my opinion, and I think it really did come down to the bunny girl status. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the bunny girl status really helped.
I have
I
not played 12, so I voted in favor of the game that I played, which was 16.
The other possibility is a lot of people haven't played 16 yet, right? And as much as I think Clive is a fantastic character with a lot of emotional growth and really a character that shows a lot of vulnerability in contrast to how he looks, I thought that was spectacular in that game. And I look forward to more people playing so they can understand that Clive is a great character. Vincent, revealed today in 7 Rebirth, was the winner versus Jill, another 16 character. Yuna, definitely a favorite in this tournament, dominated against Vanille 28-4. Rydia took out Cecil 1913. Terra took out Freya 1911. This was the big upset, without a doubt. This is the biggest upset of the tournament so far. Aiko took out Celis from Final Fantasy VI. This caused some real tears in the Discord. I think this was a tough one, I have to say. And in all honesty, I kind of, in a way, I do regret voting for Aiko on this one because I did not think she was going to win it. I really did not think Aiko was going to take it. So I voted for Aiko. I'm going to be honest with you. I did.
Just wanted to cause chaos. I'm not going to lie. I don't see either of them winning altogether, so I wanted to cause chaos.
I like them both a lot.
Easily was the deciding vote, just so y'all know. If you want to blame anyone, just don't blame me when I'm sorry.
I'm still mad about that.
I chose chaos. Okay.
James, how do you feel about that?
Come on. That result's clearly wrong. But...
Got a problem with Aiko, do you?
But it's just Aiko. Yeah, I mean, come on. What's she for? Celeste is clear winner. But yeah, there we go.
It's funny because I was the opposite there. First of all, I haven't played 6. I don't know Celis's story. But as a little girl who really identified with Aiko being so alone in the world, was someone who had a very unconventional childhood, which I've spoken about. I really, really identified well with Aiko. That I had no social I had no social skills at all as a little kid, very much as Aiko did. But and like so many people identify with that, but then those who really love Celis really identify with Celis. And it's, I also want to preface all of this, by the way, when we're going to be voting in a little bit, this is all fun. It's totally cool to like one character, dislike another character, be mad when your character doesn't win, be happy when your character does. But we're not trashing any of these characters. It's all fun.
Please don't unfollow me just because your favorite didn't win, please. I say that because I'm not joking. That happened on one of the previous tournaments I did for greatest OST. When Final Fantasy VI lost to another game, like 7 people unfollowed me immediately.
Wow.
And I had nothing to do with it. I didn't vote. It wasn't my fault. Don't blame me. I'm just the messenger. Come on now.
Shoot, I'd be interested to hear, once you've played 6, how you feel about those 2 characters again, maybe after that point.
I'm sure I'll feel a lot differently. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Just because I've seen how much love a lot of 6 characters do get.
You guys will be able to vote very easily in chat through the Twitch poll system. So it's coming in just a little bit. Let's wrap up here. Lightning took out Gladiolus. Gladdy taken down. Good. Sidolphus, another 16 character, took out Ignis. Oh wow. Harshafon, another Final Fantasy 14 character, took out Zell. That was a close one though. 15-13. This was the big one. This was upsetting for some people. Sabin took out Laguna. 15-14. Seems like James is not too upset about it.
No, I'm okay with that one.
Aerith dominated.
Laguna,
yeah. Aerith dominated against Snow. This was the biggest dominance in the entire tournament so far. 32-3. Aerith versus Snow. Lulu took out Steiner. I was actually a little bit peeved about this one. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Steiner gets a bad rap just because he starts off the game as intentionally frustrating, but that's kind of the whole point of his character. He's got amazing
character growth is fantastic.
Yeah, and he's great in a way that Waka isn't, because his stubbornness and his frustration as a character, I feel is humorous. I always laugh at it, as opposed to Waka, where it's like, you are the worst, Waka. You know what I mean?
Meanwhile, Lulu gets all of 2 minutes growth.
Easily don't say that. You're gonna upset some people in chat. Don't say that easily.
I'm only speaking truth.
Arin, another 10 character, took out Ishtola. Another 14 character taken out by Arin. Riku took out Lena. Tidus took out Fang. That was a close one, though. I was actually a little surprised. Tidus, main character of 10, barely winning against Fang from 13, one of the least favorite Final Fantasy games. A little surprising, actually.
She's one of the more popular characters from that game.
Yeah.
I'd say
Without
she's
a doubt,
probably
yeah.
the most popular character of that game.
I would say
She's
probably
very,
yeah.
very well liked. Yeah.
At least in America. In Japan, Lightning is definitely the favorite. This was the one that Crystal Bear has had to get involved in because it was technically a tie. Balthier and Setzer were tied up, and we had to make a decision. I think we felt like 12 had no love in this tournament at this point. There was literally no character moving on to round 2 from 12, whereas 6 had several characters moving on. And Setzer, let's be honest, he abducts a woman. So I think we felt like Balthier was the better choice here in this
character
case.
is actually really good. So
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, if it was tied up like it was, then we collectively 3 pushed which one would go in, and that in the case was Balthier. Yeah.
Viola, you're 100% right. 6 does have lots of really bad people, even in the main party. Noctis took out Ash from 12, and finally Beatrix, who was lower seeded than Bart's, actually dominated. Beatrix took out Bart's 30-5.
I mean,
There's a lot of love for her.
There
yeah.
is.
Beatrix.
Beatrix, that's
Eye
right.
Patch Mummy is another one.
And with that, I'm going to hide the first part of the bracket here. There's no reason to see that anymore. Let's just make it top 32. We'll full the screen here, and I think we are ready. Are we ready? So just to give you guys a little bit of insight, go ahead, shoot.
I was just going to say before the votes begin, those of us on camera, myself, Easley, James, and Drew, we will be completely unbiased during this. We're not going to be like, yeah, I want this person to win. We will silently vote just like everybody else, and we're not going to reveal who we voted for until after this tournament is completely over.
You're probably going to be able to ascertain who we're probably voting for just based on how we talk about them, because we are going to talk a little bit about each battle, especially as we get further. This first round, though, I will say, is just 1 minute per battle. We got to get through this first round pretty quickly because we got to narrow this thing down. So we're just going to do 1 minute per battle. We're going to kind of speed run this here. And then rounds 3 and 4 will be 2 minutes each. The semifinals will be 3 minutes per battle. And then the final battle, no limit. We'll talk about it as long as we need to determine the final, and also the bronze match as well. Those will each get as long as they need. All right. Let's do this, you guys. I'm scared. I'm legitimately scared about this. All right. Battle number 1. We have Cloud Strife versus Galuf. Put your votes in, you guys. I'm going to hide that. Where are the splits?
Sorry, my bad. I saw Cap's message.
Hang on, I'll unpin it for now.
Okay, it looks like Cloud is obviously with a dominant lead right now. But let's give Galuf some love. We some fans of Galuf here. Actually, Shoop and Easley probably don't even know anything about Galuf. Now I think about it.
Go ahead.
Go for it, Sheep.
Well, I was gonna say I ironically tried to avoid story spoilers on Drew's stream, and I just happened to come in during Galuf's epic part of his story, and I was like, well, now I know the cool things that Galuf does.
He does some cool stuff. He does. One of them kind of on screen right now without going to exactly what's happening. This is the cool moment right there. 22-3. Cloud moves on to round number 3.
Galuf is a good character, but compared to Cloud,
yeah. I mean, the thing with Galuf, Final Fantasy V is one of the first ones that's kind of comedic. It's got kind of a lot of brevity and levity in it, and a large part of that is down to Galuf. His character brings a lot of that kind of fun aspect, that banter with the other characters. So,
speaking of, I would argue that Barrett does that a fair amount as well with his cussing and his demeanor. He's another character that, similar to Steiner, starts out frustrating but really grows on you as the game goes on. But against Garnet, that's a tough one, right? Garnet is a very developed character, I would argue. One of the most developed characters ever in Final Fantasy. We see a lot of growth for her throughout the game.
I think we're having some issues with viewers on mobile not being able to vote, as in these polls being so quick. Vague said can't even watch on mobile, let alone vote. So for those of you mobile users, I'm very sorry if these polls are going too quickly.
They will become longer starting with the next round, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, this round for now, again, everybody is only 1 minute per poll.
13-6. Garnet takes it. Battle number 3. We have Tifa Lockhart versus Renoa Hartley. The battle of the brunettes going on here. I love Renoa. I gotta say, I love Renoa.
Battle of the brunettes.
But
This is a tough
Tifa's gonna
one.
get a lot of love, right? This is a tough one. She's definitely one of the favorites.
So
Chief, the second vote was Garnet versus Barrett, and Garnet won.
Mm-hmm.
so
I think a lot of people
do
love
very
Tifa
much
too, right? Because
love-
she's got that badass quality, right? She's a fighter. She's like a monk. You know, at that time, I think people really connected with that, with Tifa. But Renoa, Shoop talks about this a lot. What's great about Renoa is I like how forward she is, I have to say. I like that she's kind of a contrast to a lot of other females where it's like the guy chasing the girl, flirting with the girl. No, Renoa is the one that flirts with Squall, and I love that about Renoa.
Mhm.
I love that about her. I talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
I think she's a fantastic character, but for me, the fact that Tifa shows such a phenomenal supporting role in throughout the game, both OG and remake.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Renoir. Renoir lost that one.
It was 20-7. Tifa took it. But next up, we have Zach Fair versus Red 13. Oh, no. They're such good boys. They're both such good boys. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. I don't know. I don't even know if I want to vote on this. This is tough.
Wow, this is a very close one. The polls are just going back and
I don't
forth, back
know.
and forth.
I don't know. This is a toughie.
Yeah, this is neck and neck.
Oh,
so
no. It's tied.
far.
Oh, I'm voting. Okay.
I can hear Drew. So Drew and I are in separate rooms, and I can hear Drew upstairs screaming.
This is a tough one. Oh, man. We might have to step in on this.
Close.
It's tied again.
It might come down
13
to us.
13.
Oh, shit.
Have any of you three not
Has
voted?
everybody voted?
I voted.
I voted.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
I voted.
Oh, Red 13 at the last second.
No, it's
Neck and
tied.
neck.
It's a tie. Oh, man.
so
Okay, it comes down to
who
us.
did
It
we
comes
vote
down to
for?
us.
So do we reveal who we voted
Yes,
for
we can
to break
now.
this
Yeah.
tie?
I
Okay.
voted for Red 13.
I
Red
voted
13.
I voted for Zach.
I vote for Zach.
Oh,
So it's split even
no.
between us. Yeah.
What do we do? What do we do? This happened so quickly. I didn't think this was going to happen so early.
Do we just fair and square flip a coin?
I think so. Honestly, I think we
Yeah.
have to.
I can get something to flip. 1 second. Hold
Let
on.
me see. I might have something. I might have a coin.
No, I have a quarter that I digged out of the couch or dug
Okay.
out of the couch. I'll grab it.
The winner is
The
Zach
winner.
13. Someone said. Yeah.
Oh, man. This is a
Those all
tough one.
thumbs. No. Red can open a fridge. He just burns a hole in it with his tail.
Yeah, so just to make it clear, this is not a battle of who would win, like literally in a fight. This is not that. This is gut reaction. Who is your favorite protagonist? It's literally a
I'm right
popularity
here.
contest.
Zarkano, I got a lovely United States quarter to flip for Zach and
Alright.
Red.
Zach heads,
So-
Red 13 tails.
All right, yeah. Zach heads, Red 13 tails. I'm gonna flip it on and then onto my palm.
Oh my god.
And whatever it's on is whatever we get. Ready? Set. It's tails.
Red 13
Red
takes
13.
out Zach in the first round, 13-14. Wow.
I'm just saying we got rid of Aerith's lover.
That's crazy.
I
That's crazy.
I voted for Zach. James and I voted for Zach.
Yeah,
Anyway,
we represented. That's it.
Battle number 5. We got Vivi versus Yuffie, you guys. What do we think? Without saying who you're going to vote for, what do you guys think?
I think there's going to be a clear one out of this.
I agree. It already seems to be so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah. I'm not
little bit,
surprised. I'm not even going to vote. It's an obvious one, right? It's pretty obvious. I got to
a
take
little bit
one.
one-sided.
Cap saying Aerith has 2 lovers. It's okay.
Just got one spare. It's fine.
All right, Cap,
Gets
you may
around.
be fair. You might be right there.
All right.
I can't believe
Vivi
Chad
is,
Chad is admitting to pity votes. I see.
In all honesty, I'm kind of surprised that Vivi didn't dominate more, if I'm being honest.
I think that's the pity votes. That is.
Pity votes.
Yeah.
Pity's for the weak. We had, what was it in chat? We had 19 to 6. 19
19-6.
to 6. I didn't even vote on that one. Vivi takes it. Moving on to battle number 6. We have Squall Leonhardt versus Locke Cole. I like Locke. Squall's I vibe with Squall though a lot, and I think in all honesty, I feel like Squall gets a bad rap sometimes, like as being like whiny and too emo. But I don't know. I kind of appreciated that about Squall at the time. I don't know.
I
What
think
about you guys?
sometimes people forget that most of these protagonists are very mid-pubescent teenagers, you know?
Mhm.
He acts very much like a 17-year-old just thrusted into power.
Not just power, but military as well.
Yeah. How would anyone react in that scenario?
And considering his
And it's-
childhood, I mean, come on.
Yeah, his character design's cool as well. I mean, that's
And
going
he's
to be
got a
one of the main
gunblade.
factors for him. He's I mean,
Uh,
Locke is good. I like Locke in FF6. I thought he was a good protagonist, but yeah, I think there's we already see the winner. I'm not surprised.
That was close, though. That was a
15,
close
yeah.
vote.
Yeah, 15 to 12.
the
That wasn't a
Lionheart
big
lemon
one.
break.
All right, so this is battle number 7 coming up. Yes, battle number 7. We have Zidane Tribal. Did you say Tribal or Tribal? What do you guys say?
I say tribal.
I say tribal, yeah.
Versus Estinian Verlanou. I don't know.
My
Edge
God.
Stinian.
I feel like
I don't know.
this could be very one-sided potentially.
There's
Beasley,
some, I
how
don't
many
know.
how many 9 speedrunners did you invite to this event?
How many people are in chat right now? Out of curiosity.
We have a
Um,
biased audience.
Do you know there's only one in chat and he doesn't run 9 anymore?
He doesn't, no.
No, he's an 8 speed runner now.
Here's
How many people are in chat? I can't see how many
56.
people are here.
Here's the
Okay.
thing about Estinian. As of right now, I like he's sort of just a little too edgy for me, and I have a feeling that's going to change. I think I've seen a new Estinian pop up in Stormblood that I think is not going to be quite so edgy. So my opinion on him might change, but as of right now, I did vote for Zidane because yeah, just a little too edgy for me.
You're Not Alone section kind of secures it for me.
Right.
That is a very good section, yeah.
20 to 8. Zidane takes out Edge Stinian. Next up, battle number 8. We have Clive Rossfield versus Vincent Valentine. Nice. That was some deep breaths there. Wow, guys. You all right? Some deep breaths. Deep breaths, you guys.
I feel like I'll say it after the poll ends.
I haven't voted, but
Welcome, Raiders, by the way.
Here's the
Welcome
thing.
in.
Clive gets a lot more story than Vincent does, but the story that Vincent does get in like side quest type stuff is so good. So good. It's tough.
And he gets this whole spin-off game as well. You know,
Yeah,
that's where the
Dirge.
cutscenes from up there.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, the game isn't very good, but
No, it is not. I've heard. I want to play it because I've never played it before, and I think that would be a good one to do on stream, just to be like, I did.
I
know?
would send my copy to you, but you wouldn't be able to play it on your console.
That's right. Yo, Shinove coming in with the raid. Thank you so much. I missed that. Welcome in, Raiders. We're voting on the greatest Final Fantasy protagonist of all time. Hello, lovelies.
I
Make
want
sure
to
to get in.
say, now that this round is over, really quick, Vincent getting revealed today in the Rebirth trailer. I was like, oh, Vincent's got this one in the bag
Yeah,
just for what
that-
he had today.
Reaction.
That probably
Yeah,
did
but
help
I-
him. Yeah.
My wife's got a terrible memory for like obviously she's not a gamer, so she doesn't really remember the names of a lot of the characters. But when we were watching the trailer earlier, she was like Vincent and like immediately clocked them. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's
Ooh, this is an interesting one. We got Yuna versus Rydia.
Oh, this has already gone a lot more one-sided than I thought this was going to be.
Oh, not me.
Well,
I'm not surprised at all.
yeah.
Really quick, Raiders, I just want to say for this round, so you guys know, this first round is only 1 minute for each of these polls. The second round, once people get through, will be 2 minutes, and then as things go on, we give 4 minutes and such.
Yes.
So
I will say this is not my personal preference. I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about what I expect favorites to be. I think Yuna and Vivi have a really good shot at winning this whole thing. That's my opinion.
I thought Yuna would win this, but I didn't think it was going to be such a big landslide.
Yeah,
Yuna's a
Rydia has a
big
lot
favorite.
of fans. Yeah, it's I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I thought that'd be more even.
That was a big one. 22-7. Yuna takes out Rydia.
Yuna just was like, here, have my final summoning.
That was a big statement right there, because you're right. Rydia does have a lot of love from the
I
fans,
like
but
Rydia.
I
Yuna
thought it
just
was
made
gonna
a
be
statement.
like an 18-13 kind of vote. I thought it was going to be somewhat close.
Not really. Next up, we have Tara Branford versus Aiko Carroll.
Oh my
Does
God.
Tara take revenge?
Okay, can we keep chaos going?
Oh no,
For the record,
Aiko's already doing better than I thought she would. I'm not gonna lie. Aiko's
easily,
already doing better. I'm staying out of this
Easily,
one.
thanks.
I'm
Easily,
staying
Thanks
out.
for telling us.
But,
haven't
guys,
voted.
can we please get chaos through this vote?
Don't do it. Don't try it. It'll be one voice. Aiko can beat up people with just words. Okay, it seems like
I'm just zipping my mouth on this one. I'm
I
not saying a
have
word.
voted. I have
I
voted,
believe-
and
Yeah.
I'm
did
gonna vote for Tara.
Tara. Okay,
Yeah,
I did vote for Tara.
I voted for Tara as well.
Yeah.
Aiko was a meme vote. Okay.
I voted for Tara. As much as I love Aiko, Celos getting knocked out in the first round, I love Tara's costume. I don't know anything about her, but I know that she looks cool.
You'll like her a lot.
I
She's a
hope
great
so.
character. 17-8. Tara takes out Aiko. Battle number, I think this will be 11. God, I hope I'm right. Or this is going to be a repeat. I was right. Okay. We have Lightning versus Sedolphus Telamon.
No, if we were in Japan, not.
Oh,
over
Lightning
on the
would
Western
dominate if we were in
countries,
Japan.
It would be Lightning by such a landslide.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't even be close.
It's actually pretty
I mean,
close
it's
now.
close.
Yeah,
It
it started off with
is.
Sedolphus with a big start, and then Lightning with the comeback. Wow, I haven't voted yet, honestly. I'm kind of just seeing how this plays out right now.
What Taser just said in chat, Lightning versus the dominant of Lightning.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Oh my
Ooh.
goodness. Ooh.
I haven't voted.
I haven't
but
voted
I'm-
either. I think I'm just gonna stay out of this one until the end, if I'm being honest. Oh God, I need to vote.
This is much closer
Yeah,
than I
Oh!
thought it would be.
and
Oh, it's just
It's tied. Wait, it's not tied.
Oh.
Wow.
That was so close.
Okay, did you guys vote?
I did
I
vote.
did.
Lightning.
I did.
I did as well. I
Lightning.
was the deciding vote. I voted for Sedolphus at the end.
I voted Sedolphus as well.
I
Yeah.
also voted. I voted for Sid.
Yeah, I was the only
Yeah.
one different. I voted Lightning because
I was-
she
yeah.
actually has a lot more to her than. 13's just not loved as much as what it would be.
I wish Sedolphus had more to him in 16. I will admit, but what was there, I thought was really great. I really liked that.
Oh, he was a
character.
phenomenal character. Absolutely was.
Yeah. So that was kind of an upset right there. That was a lower seed, a
Doesn't
considerably lower
return this
seed, taken
I-
out.
Yeah.
Lightning, a high seed, very high seed. Now the seeding was based a
Mm.
lot on Japanese voting. That's why Lightning was number 7 seed. But still, that was kind of surprising.
Mhm.
Cap in chat said Lightning doesn't return this time.
Unfollows Drew Myth. I'm sorry. Harchafon versus Sabin.
Oh, this is a tough one for me.
Is it?
This is a tough one. Yeah.
I'm staying out of this one. I'm not confident with either character really.
I've voted in every single poll. I'm just saying, even if I don't know the character, I haven't played that installment in the series yet. I've voted so far since the beginning. I voted in everyone.
Please don't unfollow me. I'm sorry, you guys. I apologize.
Bye, Durak.
I think Sabin winning this is unsurprising though.
Yeah, I mean, look at him. Meteor striking that train.
That was an
If
interesting
only it wasn't
change.
Meteor Strike.
Yeah,
If
James,
only
I
it
don't.
was, I don't know, Suplex.
Yeah, I know, James. You didn't play the Pixel remaster, but they changed Suplex to be called
Yeah.
Meteor Strike.
I heard this. Yeah. Why? It's like the whole meme, wasn't it? For
I-
years and years.
Yeah, that is the
I
meme.
think I think it's because the move that is identical to that in 7 and 8 is Meteor Strike.
Mm.
And it looks exactly like that.
So consistency, you reckon?
Sabin
Yeah,
takes out
absolutely.
Harchafon 19-7. Next up, we have Aerith versus Lulu. Aerith Gainsborough
Okay,
versus
now-
Lulu.
If Lulu wins this, you should all be ashamed of yourselves because you just like whips, chains, and black belts.
I mean, they're tied. Well, they were a moment
They
ago.
really should not be. Lulu, with the 2 minutes of character development she gets, is going to win.
2 minutes of optional character development that she gets.
It is
Exactly.
optional.
Yeah, I
Completely
can't say I
optional.
understand this at all right now. I really
No,
don't
I
understand how
can't.
Lulu's even competing. I gotta be honest. I just
Like,
don't
Keep
get
in
it.
Aerith
mind,
is
we are
by far
voting
one of the
for.
most popular
ahead.
characters.
I'm just saying, we're voting based off of characters, stories, development, arcs, attitudes, etc., looks. Like you want to factor in all of those things too. It's a tie.
tied.
All right, so the four of us get to decide here.
Aerith.
I vote
Aerith.
Aerith.
Yeah.
Aerith
Yeah.
has
I
actual
have to ask, are you
development
guys
and-
voting as sort of a troll vote towards Lulu on that one? Be honest in chat, because I legitimately don't understand that at all.
I think what Malform said in chat about how Lulu has most of her arc pre-game. Lulu is already a developed character. She's
Okay,
just
so it was a
big
troll
sister to
vote. Okay,
Yuna.
yeah. Durak with a troll
Yeah.
vote.
I'm voting against Drew. Goodness.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I know that everybody is like voting against Aerith. A lot of people vote against Aerith because of me.
So we're only doing a coin flip, just to clarify, if the four
If
of
we
us are
tie,
tied
yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we're all in agreement between one or over the other, then we don't have to flip the coin.
Yeah. Well, at least Aerith went to round 3. I doubt she's going to go to round 4, but it looks like at least she made it to round 3. Next up, we have, let's see, this is battle number, I think this is battle number 14. Both is good.
Auron and Riku.
Auron versus Riku, battle of the Final Fantasy X MCs.
Final
Yeah.
Fantasy
This is a toughie. I like both of them a lot. This is a tough one. I think Auron has a chance to go really far in this tournament, though.
I think one. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say
Go for it,
Auron brings so much stability, and then Riku brings so much levity. They're really polar opposite party members as far as their personality goes.
I think Riku also, it's tough. She comes in later, a little bit later than Auron, so she has a little bit less, impact on the story than Auron does. So I feel like that probably helps him a lot in this one for sure.
Mhm.
And he's just, I don't know, he's great. He's the best. I love him.
Auron took it hard there, yeah.
He took it hard, really? Wow.
Yeah. 20, oh, hush now. 23-9. 23-9.
23-9.
I would take
Auron
it hard. I would take it
versus
hard
Riku.
from Auron.
Stop it now. Stop it. Battle 15. We have Tidus versus Balthier. Tidus really underperformed against Fang, but curious to see what happens here.
I think Fang is just such a popular character in general, though.
Mm-hmm. I
think
was surprised
lot
how
more
loved she
so
was.
than
Yeah.
Balthier.
I'm trying to update my.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised that the results.
No, this
Coming
makes
in
more
right
sense now. Yeah.
Mm.
So Fang clearly
this-
is
this
more
all
loved
makes
than
sense.
Balthier. Clearly.
I'm really not surprised. The fans of 13, or vast majority of them, prefer Fang. At least from the ones I know of that actually play 13.
I think
Did
it's
you-
funny because
Good.
well, I was gonna say Titus, kind of what we were talking about Squall earlier, how he gets told that he's whiny all the time. They
Mhm.
kind of parallel each other in that.
I was gonna say, did you guys notice how quickly the votes came in for Lulu versus Aerith?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a lot of I don't know what was going on there, but it was a lot of like, oh man, I'm gonna get in on this one. Like, I
That
felt
was a
it.
lot of troll. That was a lot of troll in that one.
I felt some troll action there for
Yeah.
sure. We got Tidus taking out Balthier 22-10. That was a good performance for Tidus there. Interesting. And our final battle of round 1, we have Noctis Lucis Calum versus Beatrix.
Eye patch mummy. Shock
Patch
mummy.
Mummy.
Yeah, there's got to be a
Ooh, look
clear
at that.
winner to this
Damn,
one, right?
dude. Beatrix,
Yeah.
really? What the? Whoa.
That is the-
Absolutely, yeah, not surprising whatsoever.
God, could Beatrix take this whole thing, I wonder?
That's possible. You want someone to step on
Is-
you? That's her.
Yeah.
Is Rabo spamming extra votes? We know how much he loves Beatrix.
I mean, he literally has a turn it up macro, I swear, built in whenever anyone gets to that part.
Grim Salad in chat says, war crime mommy. Oh, wow. Well, it looks like it's about to
I think all
end.
we've confirmed is that everyone in
Yeah.
chat is horny.
Yeah, super duper horny.
Well, I don't know with Beatrix. I mean, she's just. I mean, she dominates, doesn't she? I mean, you face off against them multiple times, and you're just not getting anywhere through it. And
I mean,
just
she is a good character, generally speaking.
Yeah, for sure.
I do feel like
Yeah.
if we had more time in 9, like, there's some characters that aren't completely developed because of time. I think Beatrix would have been given a lot more. And if there is a remake, I do
Mhm.
feel like Beatrix will be given a lot more time as far as her, like,
I hope so.
without spoiling things.
Well,
how
you
she
guys,
develops.
we are officially in round 3, which means now we have 2 minutes per battle. Now we can have a little bit more discussion internally as Crystal Bears about each of these battles. I'm sure you guys will get your votes in way before the 2 minutes are up, but we can have just a little bit more time to discuss because this is going to get tough now. Every single one of these battles now at this point is going to be a little bit of a challenge, I imagine. So let's get into it.
Yeah, I think so.
Battle number 1 of round 3. We have Cloud Strife versus Garnet Till Alexandros. Right off the bat, man, that's a tough one. They're both incredibly well-developed characters. Love their design. It's everything,
I think with this, I mean, Cloud has a lot more exposure, doesn't he? I mean, he's in so many different games now, so many different media formats. Garnet, we're just going off that one game that you see her in. So there's a bit of an unbalance between, what you know of both characters and how you connect to both of those characters.
Right, yeah.
I think Garnet isn't looked at for the value she actually provides in a lot of cases. She takes this courageous step to basically change her own destiny and gets thrust into a leadership role and has to struggle internally with, is it my fault after the events? And she ends up being such a strong character through the game. And I mean, I personally see the result from both sides. But I do have to say that Garnet should be looked on more favorably than just, the main female protagonist who's just essentially a side character.
Oh,
I
yeah,
find
would
it
never
interesting
go
that,
into that.
both. Well, I was going to say that both of them, I think they are underestimated by the gamer, but they also underestimate themselves. That's one thing that they both have in common. They both really doubt their own abilities until they realize how capable they are.
Wow, this is tied up.
If one of you other three haven't voted, we're tied.
I've already voted.
Wow.
I haven't, but the tie just broke right at the end there. So, yeah.
Out of
Who would
curiosity,
you-
who were you gonna?
Oh, I was really on the fence. I don't
I was
know.
too.
I mean, I probably would have edged it to Cloud. I probably would have edged it that way, but it
Yeah.
is a close one between
About a
those
minute
two.
and a half in, I was like, I think I'm going to go with Cloud. Yeah.
Mine
That
was
was a tough one.
Cloud, even though I spoke of Garnet. Mine was Cloud.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
I just there's more with Cloud, right? Like there's just we have more to consume regarding that character. We've had the movie, we've had Crisis Core, we've had books at this point.
I was the only bearer that voted for Garnet.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. It kind of breaks my heart, honestly. I wish that wouldn't have happened so early in this tournament, actually.
You
16.
probably thought I was gonna go for Garnet.
I thought you would have gone with Garnet easily. Yeah.
But like a little Cloud. I can't go against little Cloud.
Oh.
Hey, look, I have a little Garnet upstairs, and I will bring her down here.
What was surprising about that one is Garnet actually had a pretty good lead for a while there. It was a very slow comeback for Cloud. That was
And then easily
surprising.
started advocating her, and all those votes went away. And how did that happen?
It does feel like that, doesn't it? Like whoever we're talking about is the one people vote against. Maybe we should stop talking.
Yep. I think that's why everyone went for Lulu, because I was like, absolutely not.
I do think that played a part. Yeah, a little bit. I tried to stay quiet for that very reason, because I know from doing tournaments in the past that a lot of people vote against who the hosts say to be trollish.
I really want to. Yeah, this is why I said earlier that we were gonna just be unbiased. I want to quickly, just hypothetically say, what do you guys think this vote now with Tifa versus Red? What do you think this would have looked like if it was Tifa versus Zach? If Zach had beat Red in the first round, because we had a coin flip for Zach and Red.
I think Tifa wins that, no problem. honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Zach would have had a better chance against Red as far as Tifa goes. I think Tifa would have still won it. I
Maybe.
mean, look at the votes, but
I think Tifa wins
I-
either way without a doubt, but yeah.
I just think Zach would have had
would
more.
have been actually the winner.
You think Zach would have been the winner? Yeah, I don't think so at all. Tifa, yeah, I mean, Tifa, the fan base is, without trying to speak derogatorily, rabid.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably would have voted for Zach myself. I just think he's a really great character. Especially if you've played through Crisis Core and you kind of see that development of him and kind of how he matures. But yeah, it would have been an interesting one to see. But
Should we do some type of like calculation of like cup size to votes?
I mean,
there's some ratio in there.
I was
maybe?
wondering if it's maybe because that Lulu didn't make it, that people are like, well, we gotta have Tifa, but Tifa is a good character. Like, let's talk about if you take boobs out of the equation,
You
like
can't do
because
that.
we're going to right now. If you take boobs out of the equation, Tifa's character, she is a strong character. She has
so
great
Yeah,
development. She has great internal monologue. She's a great character. It doesn't matter.
So
Absolutely.
caring about everyone, maternal, I would even say.
Very
Complete
maternal.
contrast to what people think of her looking at her. We talk about this a lot, where Aerith is actually character-wise what you would think Tifa would look like, and vice versa. Like they contrast with their appearance, and I love that about 7. But now we've moved on. Vivi versus Squall. Vivi best boy versus emo guy.
Look at those emotional soulless eyes. Just Vivi.
I do feel like Squall is underrated.
I agree. I do. I would vote for Vivi
Yeah,
on
I
this one.
do.
I'm just going to say it because it's obviously going to win, Vivi. But yeah, I think I do agree. Squall is underrated.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people meme him too much, saying like whatever.
Well, that's a
I
wonderful meme.
personally vote for Vivi as well, but I love Squall's character. I think he's phenomenally well written for the kind of character he actually is. But Vivi's just like, look at Vivi's growth through the game. Look at his story through the game. And look at those of you who have completed 9. How many of you almost shed a tear, if not do, to the end of that game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's really no other character like Vivi in Final Fantasy, in my opinion. He stands alone.
No, I like Squall as well. I like him as a character. I like his design. I like his mechanics. I like his weapon. I like all his moveset. I'm not such a fan of the plot of 8, but I Squall as a character, I like how he develops. But compared to Vivi, I mean, there's no comparison as far as I'm concerned. He's just a league above. There he is on Shoop's.
There he is. 21-10. Vivi moves on to round number 4. Next up, we have battle number 4 of round 4. We have Zidane. I should say Tribal. Zidane Tribal versus Vincent Valentine. Vincent got revealed today. Is that going to play a part in this, I wonder? I don't know. What do you guys think?
An interesting matchup because they're very, very opposite people.
Yeah. What I love about
Very much
Zidane
so.
is his sort of, without going into spoilers towards the end of the game, his happy-go-lucky, very leadership role he plays, big brother, always encouraging his friends. Like, I love that about Zidane. I really do. It doesn't come across at all to me as fake or manipulative or anything of the like. Zidane really comes across to me as somebody that legitimately cares about people and wants to be a friend and a brother to them.
And if you say that Zidane doesn't have true character development, you take his speech after the final boss and you tell me he doesn't have character development. What he does after that, just
Even before that, though, I think when we're talking about Zidane, I think he's very loving for everyone around him, and then he really kind of craps on himself, like, and he uses humor to deflect. But
When he again, we're getting a little bit into detail here, but when he breaks, it's all the more powerful because of everything that comes before that. Everything we know the character to be up to that moment is what makes that breaking point so powerful in Final Fantasy IX. And that is the arc. Like, Vincent doesn't really have much of an arc. He has cool factor. Vincent, without a doubt, has cool factor. But
He also has his own game.
He has his own game, and he also has backstory that was expanded upon in other games like Before Crisis and things like that. And when you take that all into account, which is fine, you guys can take that into account. It makes sense that he competed here. It was close, 16-14. Zidane wins though, 16-14. That was a close one. Wasn't sure where that was going to go. Next up, we got battle number 5. We have Yuna versus Terra.
Oh, this will be a close one, I think. Then again, Yuna does have a lot of big fans, doesn't she? I mean,
yeah.
I don't think
Terra's
it'll be
just
close
such a
by the end.
tragic. You don't think so?
No, I think it's going to go so heavily to one still.
Yeah, this is about what I expected. I think, James, I think you might be underestimating the power of Yuna here.
Maybe.
Yuna is big time. Yeah.
People die, and Yuna
Well,
dances.
I'm going to throw my pity vote in for Terra, just so she's got it.
I realized that Rabo, I read it as Yuna dances. Rabo typed, people die and Yuna advances.
When will she stop dancing?
Right now, 21-10. I think, as I said, I really think Vivi and Yuna are favorites to win it all in this tournament. Yuna is often number 1 in Japan, I believe. Often in the entire, like, huge polls. I'm talking about tens of thousands of people voting in Famitsu and things like that. Yuna comes off number 1, number 2, very often. And in America as well, it just, people really connect with that character.
I think what Adobe had said was, to be fair, Yuna and Terra, there's no wrong answer there, in my opinion. I think I don't know too much about Terra. I really just know that she's a strong female protagonist, which, as is Yuna. And it's really hard when you pit two characters up against one another that have such similarities in that character development. It's hard. It really comes down to which one did you play, or which one did you, which game was more precious to you. It's very hard.
Yeah, but Yuna does take it 22-12. Yuna moves on to round number 4.
Terra died and Yuna advanced.
Oh no.
Wow. All right, next up we have battle number 6, it looks like. Yes, battle number 6. We have Sidolphus Telamon versus Sabin Figaro. Ooh.
This could
new
be
versus old.
one.
This could be interesting. I actually don't know how this is going to play out.
I think I'm not surprised by it. I mean, I like Sabin as a character, but no, I think Sid's going to run away with this.
Interesting.
Lightning
I actually
Daddy
thought Sabin was going to perform better than this. I'm surprised.
He's, I mean, until Sid suplexes a train,
Huh. Yeah, I'm pretty surprised right now. I really thought it was gonna be a lot closer than that.
Yeah, I thought it'd be closer.
Especially with a lot of people haven't played 16. And 6 is a fan favorite. 6 is without a doubt fan favorite.
Yeah.
But I guess Sidolphus made an impact. Made an impact on a lot of people.
Sabin in 6, I mean, he's a good character to control. He's a good character to have in your party. But story-wise, I mean, he has a few elements here and there, but he's not that integral to what's going on in the plot. It's perfectly, you're perfectly able to play quite a lot of 6 without touching Sabin, other than the plot points he is in. So yeah, I'm not too surprised.
Doing a 100% story run of 6 this time, I did encounter some scenes I didn't get the first time that I thought were really great, like the coin flip actually, between Edgar and Sabin. I didn't get that in my first playthrough. So things like that, I'm appreciating the brotherhood of the two characters more this time, and I'm getting a little bit more out of Sabin. But it really, what it comes down to me is I thought that there weren't enough people that had played 16, and And like I said, Sid, as much as I love the character and I love his design and all that, I wish he had more, but more to do in 16.
I think that's just the general theme of 16. They've got so many good characters that you just wish you saw more of some of the. I don't want to talk too much about different parts of the plot of the game, but there are just characters you come across in that game that you just think, oh, I wish I saw more of this person, and they're just kind of in and out.
Emotionally developed or emotionally connected to something, and then you just want more.
Aerith Ginsborough versus Auron. I think Auron's going to take this for sure. But
it's an interesting matchup, though.
Yeah, it's very different characters, but I think Auron takes this one. Auron, I remember one of our previous tournaments, Auron went to like top 3, I want to say. So I'm not too surprised.
I think he did, yeah. When Drew and I did a marathon, a 48-hour marathon stream, and we did something similar to this, and Auron did get really far.
I'm not gonna lie, it saddens me slightly in terms of the characters, because personally, Aerith is by far a better character in terms
she has
of overall.
More impact, let's say.
Yeah, but I fully understand why people like Auron so much. And I don't think they're wrong for liking that at all. I just, in my opinion, feel that Aerith is a much, much, much better character.
I'll give Aerith a vote. Here you go, Aerith.
Of course you will. That was your very first love.
If I had to choose between these two characters, I would pick Aerith. As much as I love Auron, I would pick Aerith on this one.
I really, it's interesting when Beard said, I really thought Aerith was going to be top 3. I did too, until I realized, like, I looked at these brackets beforehand, and as you narrow them down, we're at this point choosing from the best of the best, right? Yeah. It's hard. It's going to be hard.
We saw this a lot in the tournament discussion on Discord, that a lot of people really overestimate the love for Final Fantasy VII. Like, everybody in chat's like, oh, it's going to be Cloud, Tifa, and like Aerith at the end. I was like, you were not right at all. Like, it's probably going to be maybe them, and also maybe Yuna, Vivi, Auron, and characters
Yuna,
like
Vivi, Auron.
Yeah, I think a lot of people really overestimate the love that 7 has over like other entries or something like that. It's just not the case.
It's just interesting. I don't want to say, and just to not spoil things, but Auron winning here. It's interesting that Auron is kind of responsible for how the game starts, and Aerith is responsible for how the game ends.
Can't talk about it, but interesting.
She's also quite heavily responsible for the start, though, as well.
Auron moves on to round number 4, taking out Aerith. Battle number 8 of round 3. We have Tidus versus Beatrix. I think I know where this one's going to go based off the previous battle.
It's going to be clear.
You got to stop calling her Beatrix.
Oh, okay. Wait, hold on. This is actually much closer. Okay, Tidus against. Oh, there we go. We got a battle going here.
Patch Mummy gonna lose?
I misclicked on my vote.
Okay, we can take that into account.
Okay, I will reveal it later if that happens to be a factor.
Okay, so this is more in line with what I was actually thinking. Okay, this is actually not a
Grim Salad. You retract your vote, lady. You are a 9 speedrunner.
When Easley gets mad at me, he says, "Ride the damn shoe puff. Is it now Grim the damn salad?"
Grim not so salad.
Star player of the Xander Canabes.
It looks like Beatrix is probably gonna win this. Yeah, there's already 32 votes. We haven't really had much more than that in any of the battles. So I think Beatrix has got this one. Man, Beatrix is really, really performing well in this tournament. This could be interesting at the end.
Shoot. Can we ask who you misclicked?
Should I say it now or wait until the vote is done?
I think you can tell us now, honestly.
Okay, I meant to vote for Tidus and I voted for Beatrix.
Okay, so it's actually 16-18.
So it's actually 16-18.
Okay.
Also, sorry for ads for those of you who are not subbed.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to matter.
Yeah, I tried to vote for Tidus.
16-19. Yeah, not going to matter. 16-19.
Okay, yeah.
I'll put it in the right way, though. 16-19. Beatrix wins.
Yeah, that Beatrix Oren matchup is going to be an interesting one.
Ooh, wow, that is gonna be
Yeah.
interesting. Damn, we're getting into some crazy stuff now. Oh no,
Yeah.
this next one. You guys, are you ready
the
for this?
next two are horrible.
Are you ready
Yeah,
for this?
this is
If people are still in ads, are they able to vote?
We
you
can
still
wait.
vote.
They can still vote. Are you sure?
You can still vote when you're in ads because you can still interact with chat when you're in ads.
Okay,
Okay.
just making sure. Okay, here we go, you guys. Round number 5, the semifinals.
Duroc said he
versus
doesn't know if he
Tifa.
can.
Oh,
vote
sorry,
or
no,
not.
this is to decide the semifinals. This is round number 4. Sorry, round number 4 to decide the semifinals. Battle
They'll have long
number
enough anyway.
1 of round 4. We have Cloud Strife versus Tifa Lockhart.
This is a tough one in my opinion.
Yeah, this is tough. I don't think it's gonna. Yeah, I'm not surprised though. I don't think it's gonna be close, actually.
I agree with Grimm's comment. Cloud would be nothing without Tifa. I actually fundamentally, in terms of OG specifically, Cloud would be nothing without her. She is
Oh,
such
100%.
a phenomenally supporting character.
Yep. I mean, that is literally the story. Like, I'm not going to go into specifics here, but I don't think there's even any denying that. Like, Cloud would fall apart if it's not for Tifa.
I really feel like I should have worn my Tifa purple dress for this. I have it upstairs.
Quick, you got time. Go get changed.
I have a light purple dress on, but I should have put her dark purple one on.
I feel bad for Cloud, though, so I'm voting for Cloud. Pity vote.
I voted for Cloud and not a pity vote.
Well, in every
It's torn for me.
every version of Final Fantasy VII, I prefer Tifa over Cloud personally.
Here's the thing.
Advent
When it comes to...
Children
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to say, if it was Cloud versus Aerith, I would vote for Aerith. But Cloud versus Tifa, it's a toss-up. It's a coin flip in my head.
It's been requested that Drew, you're upstairs. You should probably go put on your Tifa cosplay.
You got it. You got it. What about you, James? You haven't really spoken to this one.
I was trying to still decide. I really don't know. I'm really on the fence on this one. You know, Cloud's got that whole. We were talking about his character development earlier and the kind of mental struggles he goes through. And yeah, Tifa brings him out of that, but it's his story. It's kind of his journey and what he goes through. And a lot of people identify with that. And then you're right with Tifa as well, especially in Advent Children. She kind of takes on that maternal role. She's kind of the one who cares about the group. It's a really tough one. I couldn't decide. I didn't vote.
Interesting.
So I'm glad it came out quite thoroughly. One way.
It wasn't that close, honestly. 11-20, Tifa wins. So let's move on to battle number 2. We have Vivi versus Zidane. Once again, it's 7 characters and now 9 characters.
I have Vivi versus Dane right behind me.
Yeah, you do.
Well, I will say that without Vivi, Garnet would not get the strength she needs. Zidane would not make the changes he needs. Steiner would not make the changes he needs.
Yeah.
Aiko
Vivi's
would not
just
make
the
the
catalyst.
changes she needs. Vivi is the glue for the game, in terms of my opinion on that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
This is a tough one. I love Zidane so much. He's really one of my favorite MCs, but it's Vivi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, Zidane's great and everything, but compared to Vivi, I mean, his story's just so. Again, I've got to choose my words carefully because I don't want to say any spoilers, but it's just his arc is just above and beyond
One of the best.
what the others go through. Yeah, and Easley's right as well. He is just the catalyst for all the stuff that happens to every party member in the game.
It's gonna be, if the 9 remake is true, that is a tough one to get 100% right, because he's a what, a 10-year-old boy.
He's 9. He's 9.
Sorry, 9-year-old boy. Like, you gotta capture that, but also he's a 9-year-old boy dealing with an existential crisis. Like, that's a tough thing to nail in voice acting. It's gonna be interesting if they do voice acting. That's another question, I guess.
In chat, Grim Salad is saying Zidane is important to each of the characters as well, and I agree. And I think without
I agree,
spoiling
yeah.
anything, that towards the end, what's really addressed is what Zidane taught all of us.
It is definitely a combination of the two. I just feel that Vivi catalyzes Zidane to make those changes, which in turn catalyzes everyone else. But I agree. Both characters are very, very important to the game in itself.
This should be an easy one, I think. I don't imagine Yuna's going to have any trouble beating Sidolphus on this one. I'm honestly surprised Sidolphus made it this far. There's just... I'm not even going to like hide who I'm voting for here. It's Yuna. I mean, Yuna has so much more development than Sidolphus does. I mean, not to mention she has another entire game dedicated to her, so...
Are you just biased against Sid because you look like him?
If anything, I like Sid for that reason. It's like the only time in all of Final Fantasy that there's been a character that I'm like, oh my god, I look like that character. That's the only time I've ever felt that way. So I actually love Sid for that, but no, it's Yuna. It's gotta be Yuna.
We're all trying to get Drew the Sid cosplay, in case nobody knows about this yet. I would die very happy if I ever got to see him full on dressed out, decked out as Sid.
Do it.
I don't want you to die.
No, I'm saying, but if I did, and I did before you cosplayed Sid, I would die a very sad woman.
I'm really excited for the next battle at this point.
About Yuna dancing, but I felt it hit home too hard.
Sid dies and Yuna advances.
I wasn't gonna say it.
I'll say it. Looks like it's going to be Yuna for sure. 25-8 right now. James, what do you think? Is it Yuna for you?
No, I mean I went with. Oh, you mean for the next round?
No,
for
against
this one.
Sidolphus.
Oh, against. No, I voted Sid.
Did you?
I really rate Sid as a character. I thought he was really good in 16. I think. I mean, maybe a lot of it is just the cool factor. I don't know, but cool. I do like Sid as a character, and I think even just the way he speaks. He's from the north of England, so a lot of people I know in like my own family and a lot of my friends, they speak a lot like him. They have the kind of similar accent. So I don't know. There's got a lot of time for Sid.
I do love his voice. There's no denying that, man. That's a great voice he's got. Auron versus Beatrix. I don't know. This is a toughie. Beatrix is really cool. She's got that cool factor, but Auron's got the cool factor too. And then when you kind of cancel those two out, Auron's got a lot more going on than Beatrix does, right?
It's kind of getting even.
I don't know. Beatrix,
Go ahead, James.
Well, she has that line, doesn't she? She talks about when she first meets the party and she's like, I took out 1,000 knights single-handedly. She's just a proficient fighter. Yeah. She's got an epic theme. She's got a story arc all of her own, even though she's like not one of the main characters. Yeah, I think there's a reason she's really well liked.
Oh, I agree with you.
There's a damn mod where you can play as her. That's how much people like her.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned her music theme. Auron has a banging music theme too. James, which theme, if you had to pick, not counting characters at all, which theme is more of a bop
Beatrix.
for you?
I think Beatrix's theme.
May.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roses of May, for sure.
You mean that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a goodie, especially when they make it a more like action version of it.
Right. And also the theme, just when you fight her, it's just so gloomy, and you just feel like, oh yeah, we're not in for a good time here. It's such a good fight. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I can play that. I can play that on the piano. I just figured it out the other day.
I just realized that Drew showed a clip of Steiner hitting Beatrix for 1575 or 1675. I was like, you could have at least had him hitting a good damage roll.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I was a little bit strapped trying to find clips for Beatrix, if I'm being honest. I didn't want to get the clip late in the game, if you know what I mean. I didn't want to get that one. So I was like, God, what am I supposed to grab for Beatrix? I didn't know what to grab.
I think
but anyway.
in this vote, I think Auron's story completion played a big factor in this, whereas like Beatrix's story could have been elongated had she had more time in the game.
Well, let's hope in remake we get even more Beatrix. And if I'm being honest, I do think they should address her war crimes a little bit better. If I'm being honest with you,
it's okay, I forgive you. You're fine.
I mean, she does commit some atrocities. Maybe we should address that a little bit.
Genocide is
people.
Yeah.
At least like if we're going with like 7, Reno and Rude, I do feel like it's talked about, right? It's discussed why they're doing it. the emotional toll it takes on them. Like you get a little bit of that in 7, but I feel like Beatrix, you don't really get that very much.
Well, I mean, she's the general of an army. It makes a perfect sense to me why she kills so many people. She's doing it for her nation.
Yes, the why, I think I can agree with you. I can agree with the why of it all.
And she's
Her and
killed so many
Steiner
people.
have-
Her morals don't exactly come into it anymore.
Mm-hmm. It's implied she did reparations to Alexandria, but nowhere else. Grim, at least she did reparations for Alexandria. At least there's that. All right, that is round number 4 wrapped up. We're getting into the big ones now. Semifinals. We're in the semifinals, you guys. We got 2 battles here in round number 5 for the semifinals. First up, we have Tifa Lockhart. I spelled Lockhart wrong. Shit. I spelled in the bracket. Tifa Lockhart versus VV Ornatier. How do you say that? Or do you say Ornatier or Ornatier, or what do you say?
Ornatier, I'd say.
Ornatier.
Yeah, Ornatiers to me as well.
I like what
This is
Floral
a
Reverie.
lot close.
Yeah. I like what Floral Reverie says in the chat there. I feel like Tifa would help Vivi if they were in the same world.
Oh yeah,
It's probably right.
and vice versa.
Yeah.
Mm.
This is very surprising, actually.
This is closer than I thought it would be. Closer than I thought it would be. I haven't voted yet, actually.
Neither
I'm
have
going to
I.
hold off my vote to the
I'm
end.
holding off as well. I'm a little surprised.
I have already voted. I've for each one of these, I've voted as soon as the poll comes up, usually before the votes go. So
I
can
kind of like to
just
see where it
vote on
goes a
my
little bit
instinct.
first. Feeling it out.
I normally vote, but if they even after the first like 20 seconds, I tend to wait.
What's great about this one too is you can see that the votes are very slowly coming in, so you know the chat is also like
Struggling.
Ooh, I don't know.
Mm.
I love that. It's great to see.
It's only that's what the thing is, and we said that this was only going to get harder.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to make any comments to either. I don't want to swing the vote either which way
I
at the
don't
minute.
either. I don't want to say anything.
But
I've
yes,
just put-
Misty Ped.
The Tifa Lockhart is a Misty Ped, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like Vivi came through at the end, and
We still have a few minutes left. Keep
yeah,
in mind,
this is a 3-minute battle here. So let's talk a little bit here about why do we think Tifa performed so well here against Vivi? Because I think Vivi, I was expecting to do even better than this against Tifa. What do you guys think? Were you surprised at all by this so far?
I'm surprised how close, but in Remake, Tifa's character is so phenomenally well done.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have played Remake a lot more recently and a lot more thoroughly than they played OG.
Mm.
So maybe that's why.
Right. I mean, if 9 Remake had already come out, this might be a completely different battle, right? Like, it might be a landslide victory for Vivi. It all depends on how well they realize Vivi in a remake. Tifa, I would agree, they did a fantastic job realizing Tifa in Remake. And we do have Rebirth trailer today, literally. We have Remake recently. So there might be a little bit of recency bias there for Tifa.
That's what Keeper also said in chat, that the Tifa's character in Remake has so much more depth, and she was way better written. Because in her OG 7, she really was boob mom. She was maternal. She took care of
I wouldn't narrow
everybody.
down to that. That's maybe a little too much. I would not call her boob
I don't know.
mom.
There's a few cutscenes in that game where she definitely is.
She definitely has the boobs, but I wouldn't just narrow it down to literally boob mom. Like that. I think that's a little bit of a disservice to her.
They didn't. I'm just saying they further developed who she really is in Remake.
Yeah.
I do want to say that it says a lot when every single Final Fantasy IX speedrunner that's either in chat or on this panel voted for Tifa.
Wait, I'm backwards here. It's 15 to 19 VV.
What was that, Easley?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
All of the 9 speedrunners that I've seen in chat and myself voted for Tifa, which is kind of funny.
Interesting.
I voted for Vivi.
I didn't vote actually, but I would have voted for Vivi.
I voted for Vivi, but easily, what made you vote for Tifa over Vivi then? As a 9 speedrunner.
So yes, I do believe that Vivi is quite possibly the best character in 9. I actually feel Kuja's better, but that's me personally. But the Tifa's character in general has such a phenomenally supportive role, and she actually plays such an integral part in 7 in a very subtle way that until later when it's more prominent.
Yeah.
But in my eyes, if she were not in that game, we wouldn't even have the game.
Hmm.
Whereas you can take out Vivi, and yes, you would you wouldn't have you would still have the game. They're still going to do the exact same start to the game, even without Vivi. May not go to the same degree, but it would still happen. Whereas 7 would not.
Well, as of right now, Final Fantasy VII no longer has any possibility at being number 1. It is now 9 in the final round, Tifa in the bronze match. So 7 can still get a winner in the bronze. But let's finish off the semifinals here. We have Yuna versus Auron.
Another 10 versus 10 match because we had
Yep.
Auron versus Riku earlier.
Yep. What do you guys think? Shoop, let's go to you first. You're the diehard Final Fantasy X fan here. Yuna versus Auron.
I love them both for completely different reasons. Yuna has this way about her. She's very, very humble, right? She knows that quite literally the world relies on her. The entire weight is on her shoulders, right? And whereas Auron has already gone down the journey that Yuna is about to go on, he already knows how things end or could possibly end. And Auron has all of this knowledge of Yuna's journey and what it's going to look like, but he wants her journey to look differently than the journey that he went on.
Right.
They're both very strong characters for very different reasons. Auron's story has already concluded, and it didn't conclude the way he wanted it to. Whereas Yuna's, she is prepared throughout her entire journey for it to end exactly how Auron's did, if you will, just from the summoner standpoint rather than the guardian. Auron is determined, if we're talking about the start of the story, Auron is determined to change the story. Yuna is determined to do whatever she can selflessly to just save everybody else. She's not worried about how her story ends. She's worried more so about giving other people the chance to live. But I don't want to speak on who I voted for. I already voted.
You got close for a second there.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to get something like a tie here. I haven't voted yet, actually. Easily. What do you think?
I think that in terms of characters through 10, I think Yuna kind of takes it. Auron kind of starts things going, and obviously this story wouldn't actually happen without him, because he's the reason why Titus gets into that place. But the game is about Yuna's story. And we follow Yuna. Well, we follow through Titus' eyes, but we're essentially seeing Yuna's journey, and I feel like her development through the game to the fact that she had a sequel after it is testament to how well she was written.
Yeah, I think for me, Auron has better moments. Like there's like really high highs for Auron. Some of his moments specifically late in the game, when it comes to giving him his backstory, I think are without a doubt some of the very, very best moments of the game. But if we're talking about as a whole, I think that Yuna's pilgrimage, her story, her arc, that is more important to Final Fantasy X as a whole. And I would argue, you got the whole Titus, I'm sorry, but this is my story. I always kind of like look at that moment. I'm like, is it though? Because it's arguable. I think it's really arguable actually in 10 whose story it really is.
I was going to mention that, there's a scene in 10 where he says something along the lines of like that, or he's making his protagonist speech, and Yuna stops him and she says, "You keep saying it's your story, but it's my story too, Yeah. And it really is.
Yep, Yuna takes it 22-17, but James, I don't feel like we heard enough from you there. Do you agree with that vote?
I mean, I voted Auron
Okay.
So, but I do. I mean, a lot of the points you made were really good. I mean, you're right. Oren has some of the kind of epic highs, and he's got some of the good speeches in there, and he's one of the motivating factors. He's Yuna's dad's guardian. He's come from like that background, and he's already got that kind of respect and prestige before he's even a member of the party. And Yuna, on the other hand, she gets all of the kind of the beautiful moments. She gets the dancing scene, she gets the tragic scene. She's the one who's making the big sacrifice, and as you say, you're following her journey through the world. So yeah, it's kind of weighing up those two things together. For me, I think Oren would edge it again, but I can totally see why people would say Yuna.
Yeah. In a way, I'm almost a little disappointed that this, for the most part, is going exactly how I thought it would go. Like I was kind of hoping for some crazy upsets or something, but I kind of thought it would be Vivi versus Yuna in the end. I was pretty sure of it.
I think so. Drew did a poll throughout his Discord. It was a Google Doc vote thing of who you think the top 3 would be, and Yuna and Vivi were both voted for to be in top 3 throughout almost every single person who did their prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Almost every single person put it.
Vivi was. We'll talk about it later. I haven't looked at it in a while, but as far as just being in the top 3 of the people that answered the survey, Vivi had the most votes, followed by Yuna. So I'm not too surprised. What is the biggest upset in the tourney, in your opinion? We'll get to that in the Moogle mailbox. But right now, we do have. This is at the finals, and we can take as long as we need on this. If you guys feel like we need more time, we'll take it.
Do we do the bronze match first?
We could. We want to do the bronze match first?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's do bronze.
Yeah, save the final for last, yeah.
All right.
Oron's dead and Yuna keeps dancing.
Lockhart versus...
When will she stop dancing?
Versus Armin. I'm not crazy, right? Heart is spelled H-E-A-R-T. It's Squall that doesn't have the E, right? In Lionheart?
Yeah.
But Tifa has the H-E-A-R-T, right?
Well, now you've got me thinking about...
She's H-A-R-T.
Yeah, okay.
She doesn't have the E.
The only one that has the E is Renoa. It's Heartily with an E. Yes, okay.
Yes. It's
okay,
Tifa
it is Heart
A,
without it.
And it's Leon Heart without as well.
I hope Final Fantasy XVII ends up.
I'm seeing a lot of opposing answers in chat right now. I feel like you guys are just confusing me more.
No,
hold on.
Lionheart is his weapon, Violet.
Yeah, it's.
All right, I'm gonna go without the E.
Without the E in both cases.
I'm gonna go without the E. All right, let's do this. All right, bronze battle, you guys. We have Tifa Lockhart versus Oren.
Imagine if Squall had gotten to the bronze match and we would have had a Lockhart versus Leonhart.
Hey, thank you for the raid. Welcome in, Raiders. We are voting on the bronze battle right now. Tifa Lockhart versus Oren for best Final Fantasy protagonist. Okay, right now Oren's in the lead. Interesting. Think this puts into question the 7 love, isn't it?
Yeah, that is surprising. I mean, I think out of these two, I think Tifa's got the combat ability. She's got some of the we were talking about some of Oren's highs earlier, but Tifa's got equally some highs, particularly in some of the new media that she's been in. Yeah, I'm surprised Oren's pulling ahead on this one.
I am too, actually. I honestly thought it would be like a big old runaway with Tifa.
Was it 15 to 18 right now? I haven't voted.
A lot more loved than
I voted already.
Believed.
Might have to end this poll early.
I don't know. We did just have some Raiders come in, so you guys feel free to
Raiders,
vote.
get your votes in, please. Please. Bronze battle right here. I think personally, I think I would vote for Tifa on this one. I think.
Have the 3 of you voted? I
have not.
I voted.
I'm honestly, I'm still a little thinking, kind of feeling myself out here.
It's starting to even out.
Yeah.
It's getting close.
Yeah, if I do vote, it's gonna
very, very close.
Bring it a lot closer.
Yeah, I figured your vote before that went. To be fair,
People voting for their bracket predictions. Maybe. But I think a lot of people didn't predict what they thought the final would be. They predicted what they wanted the final to be, I feel like.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if it was a miscommunication or if they just voted how they wanted to vote, but it was supposed to be predict who you think you'll win, not who do you want to win.
Floral
That's what
says,
this is for.
here's the thing, Tifa's theme. But also here's the thing, Orin's theme. They're both awesome. So I would agree. I think Tifa's theme is better, but
I'm unsurprised with any of the top 4. If you'd have asked me at the start who the top 4 were going to be, those 4 names would have been who I said.
yeah. I think Tifa and Cloud was like, ooh, I wonder if it'll be Tifa or Cloud in the bronze. I pretty much was sure it would be Vivi versus Yuna for the final, but I thought it might be Cloud versus Auron for the bronze.
The 2 out of the 3 people that I predicted are in the final. The person who I predicted that would make it to the final didn't get anywhere close to it, surprisingly. And it was Aerith. I thought Aerith would have made it to at least the bronze match, and she didn't.
Yeah. Aerith has a lot of haters, weirdly.
It's strange.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, she does.
I would have liked to see a good old-fashioned Tifa versus Aerith, and we didn't get to see it.
All right, well, I'm going to make this a little more interesting. I'm going to vote for Tifa. 19 to 21. Everybody else vote yet?
I think we have. It's just the last little bit in chat. If anyone else has left to vote.
Okay.
Get your votes in now, people. Stop pitting women against each other. Rabo, I don't. But it would have been the stereotypical pit, right? Like, of all Final Fantasy and this entire community of games, what is the stereotypical which woman is better? It's Aerith versus Tifa every time.
And Tifa always wins. Always.
That's only because it's always on your channel and people know how much
No,
you love
I've
Aerith.
never once in my life ever seen a poll where Aerith beats Tifa. Never once.
Interesting.
Aerith has always been my choice, but I've never seen a poll where Tifa wins. Or where Aerith wins.
Aerith's behind me as well.
I've got Tifa behind me over here somewhere.
So.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure
almost
Drew has both. I got him Aerith in the red dress for Christmas.
I do not have
he's
Tifa.
got Tifa. You have her miniature.
I have a miniature of everybody, yeah, but I don't have any of like the action figures of Tifa. I only have Aerith. Drew, you.
That's a very close vote.
Yeah,
it all takes is one more vote, and there's still like a good 15 seconds left to tie this up.
I want it to be a tie so bad.
Well, then it's going to come down to us. I don't know if I want that or not.
Yeah.
I mean, these are 2 very, very well-liked characters, aren't they?
Oh,
there it is. There it is. It's right
somebody waited. I feel like somebody waited. Auron took it. Auron took ahead.
No,
Auron took
somebody
ahead.
voted for Auron. Wait.
Oh.
It's
Auron.
Sneaked it in at the end.
That was very close.
Which one of you did that? Which one of you did that?
Out of curiosity, who did you 3 vote for?
I voted for Tifa.
I voted
for Tifa as well.
I voted for Tifa.
And I voted for Tifa.
Whoa, jeez.
Wow.
Damn. So if it was tied, it would have went to Tifa.
Yep.
Interesting. Very interesting. But Auron takes it. Auron is the bronze battle winner. 21 to 22 Tifa to Auron. Damn.
Victory!
oh, what just happened? I didn't wait, hold on a second. What did it do? Let me come back.
Rigged.
Exit it out. Hold on. Let me isolate this. Top 32.
Chief said the crystal bearers have been defeated.
Yeah, guess so. Let's go, chat. All right, let me update my stuff here real quick on the side so we can get our final battle going. It will be Vivi Ornatier versus
Speaking
Yuna.
of experience, guys, if you haven't put your experience into any of the 3 of the Crystal Bearers, please consider doing so. It helps us level up, and who knows what will happen with our levels in future.
This is like, I just want to level up.
Yes,
Of course I wanna
Drew and
level up.
Easy
I
are
wanna
bit
be strong.
behind.
All right, you guys, the final battle. This determines the greatest Final Fantasy protagonist of all time. This community's favorite of all time. This legacied series spanning 30 plus years, 35 years to be exact. We're in the 35th anniversary. So many amazing characters, and you guys have narrowed it down to Vivi versus Yuna. great. It's a
Black
great
Mage
this is
versus
so
White
hard.
Mage.
Yeah. This is
Mhm.
so hard. These are my two favorite characters of all of the Final Fantasies that I have played so far from both of my favorite games of all time. It's hard. It's really, really hard. I did cast my vote. I don't know if the three of you have, but I did.
I think I know who
I
you
have.
voted for, but I
Yeah.
haven't voted yet.
I haven't voted.
I want to see how this plays out a little bit. Let's go to chat here. James, Yuna is a summoner. Argue. I think White Mage summoner. It's both, right? It's both. A little bit of both. If you vote for Vivi, you're a bad man. You're a bad man.
I mean, in fairness, you can take Yuna down the Black Mage track and turn her into one hell of a Black Mage.
You can. A better
on
Black
the
Mage than
sphere grid.
Lulu, actually.
Yeah. She's really, really strong. So that is fair.
It's interesting that Violet kind of said the same thing, that Yuna's more useful as a Black Mage than as a White Mage. Yuna has a higher magic stat, whereas Lulu has a higher natural magic defense stat.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do what I do, then they all end up with 255 at the end anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're
he's
all-
maxing
you're
out,
all
right? Yeah.
It's quicker to just send her down the physical attack route and she just melees for 99,999. There you
There's
go.
always
Job done.
something satisfying about either Yuna or Lulu when they start
Thunk.
physically attacking. Yeah.
Team Mari is better than Lulu. I agree.
That's actually true on her stats. That is genuinely true. Kimari has better stat scaling than
Oh,
Lulu.
I just meant as a character.
Except for his evasion. Her evasion
Except
will
for
always be
evasion,
top
yes.
tier.
Yeah.
If
I love that
Vivi
we're talking
doesn't
about
win
everybody
here, I
except for
quit,
me.
says Dapper. We're gonna get a lost follow, you guys.
I'm actually very shocked that Lulu has has better evasion. Like that seems canonically wrong, but we accept it.
I
She's
would be
really useful. You know that fight just before you go to Macalania and the Albed send like down this machine thing, has a big machine gun on it. Really, really useful in that fight because she's got that reflex ability. She can raise the entire party's evasion.
Yep.
So for some of that stuff, she's quite useful. Some of those kind of tactical abilities. But
How many people do you think
I
are
don't know.
waiting right now for like the last 5 seconds to vote?
Oh, I'm sure plenty.
A few, yeah.
Just seriously, how many of us have voted so far? Is it just Shoop?
I voted.
I voted.
I have not.
Okay, I have not voted either. All right, and we're
Are
we're
the
down.
two of you going to be part of the last? Rose is waiting.
Yeah,
Drew and Eve are
Vivi.
waiting.
Vivi's down 2 right now.
Yep.
It's interesting. Very
It's very
interesting.
close.
Oh,
down one.
Down
For me,
one.
for me, this one was quite clear. So that's why I'm kind of not talking about it because I don't want to give it away yet. But
Yeah, I have no
it
idea
was-
where you would have gone on this one, James.
Oh, it's even.
Yeah, it's even right now. 50-50, you guys. This is going to have the most votes in the tournament, I think, this battle, which makes sense. That's the way it should be.
I think either
Oh!
way,
Oh,
either
just a-
way, anyone votes. Oh wow.
You only just got 2 votes.
she just jumped ahead.
So-
Yeah.
20-18.
I think either way, either of us vote. I think it's gonna be like, oh wow, you voted for that person. I thought you thought we were gonna vote for this one, or oh, I thought you liked this one more, or what about this part in this game? You know, like either way,
Yeah.
like I said, these are both top tier characters. Like
Mhm.
they both define the stories of their respective games.
Kappa, I actually love that line. I actually do.
I'm not seeing an option for Lulu. My stream is bugged. How dare you? Man, another 30 seconds, it looks like. Yuna in the
Very,
lead.
very close.
Up 2 over Vivi. This is your last chance, you guys. Get
It's
your
very
votes in
close.
these last 15 seconds of the battle. Anyone have any Yuna emotes? I do not.
That's come so close.
Oh.
Oh my. Oh my.
Oh.
Oh my.
Oh.
You told her everyone is. Oh, there we go. She's pulling ahead again.
Oh, everybody waited. Everybody waited. Oh, come on. Ah! Yuna takes it. Oh, man.
That was to the wire.
Down to the wire.
You see now why I have a Vivi crying emote, right?
Whoa. People dying, Yuna advances. Wow. Wow.
All right,
She will
so
never stop advancing.
Crystal Bearers, it is time to reveal your votes.
Easily.
Vivi.
Shoop,
Yuna.
James.
Vivi. It was Vivi for me.
I voted for Vivi.
Drew.
I voted for Vivi. Yep. So if it was a tie, it would have went to Vivi, actually, in the end.
Yep.
Shoop,
I messed it all up.
ruined it. Shoop ruined it, you guys. All the Vivi lovers in chat, you know exactly who to blame. It's literally as simple as if Shoop voted for Vivi. This is a completely different outcome.
Look, I'm going to be
Voted
really
for the
honest with
wrong
you
thing.
guys. And a lot of y'all know this, that 9 is my favorite game of all time. Everybody thinks it's 10. It's not 10. 9 is my absolute favorite. For the last 20 years of my life, have never identified harder with another character other than Yuna. I had to vote with my heart.
Here's why I voted for Vivi. And I think this might come off a little bit hot, but I don't mean it as hot as it comes off, I promise you. I love Yuna. I love her arc. I love her character. I love all that, right? I think it's so impactful. I think she's a little boring outside of all that. She's a little bit too plain for me, if we're really getting into it. That's why I chose Vivi over Yuna.
I've also already seen Vivi win one of these tournaments. He won the one that we did for our 48-hour. And I voted for him in our 48-hour, and I remember thinking to myself, I voted for Vivi because Vivi best boy. I didn't vote with my heart when we first did that. This time I did.
Okay.
So for me, I mean, I kind of weighed up the kind of emotional impact each of them have on the story. And for me, I just feel like Vivi... You look at, again, I kind of don't want to talk about the spoilers of the games, so it's difficult to kind of put into words, but I think Vivi, he has a higher cost throughout the game, is how I'll put it. For all the talk of Yuna sacrificing and kind of working for Spira and all of that kind of stuff, I feel like it's Vivi who edges out in terms of the price he pays for that journey. And I felt like he had the more emotional story for me.
I think he's
I
got
would
the most
agree.
emotional range out of the two characters.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has better development personally than Yuna. Don't get me wrong, she is a phenomenal character. Please do not get me wrong there. I just personally feel that Vivi has more impact in terms of the rest of the characters than Yuna does.
I think it's easier to say that Vivi has the more emotional arc and payoff because Yuna intentionally as a character and intentionally to the story internalizes a lot of the very somber tones of what the game is actually about, what her mission truly is. That's hidden from us for a very long time. And that actually makes Yuna even more powerful and strong as a person, right? When you think about that, it's that she is going through all the things she's going through and not even acknowledging this one aspect is what makes her such an amazing character. But in the same way, it doesn't have that payoff until the very end, or at least close to the end. Whereas Vivi, I'm able to attach with him more emotionally because from the very beginning, he's a little boy. He's 10 years old. He's wearing his heart on his sleeve. Like it's so easy to feel for him in every single one of those moments because he's just a child. So it's very easy to become emotionally attached to that. Right? If that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's hard again without any kind of spoilers in this sense is like Yuna accepts what her story is, might look like towards the beginning, whereas Vivi really spends the entire game analyzing his life, not the finality, not the finality of it. Whereas like Yuna's like, ooh, people die and Yuna's gonna die too. So
that's your Yuna impersonation.
Vivi really, this is going to sound really, really morbid, but bear with me because, and I've talked about this before, with my brother and stuff,
Mhm.
that I feel like when you learn that your life is finite, you really start to appreciate every day. And Vivi, we get to have those monologues with him, where he really starts acknowledging the appreciation for each day.
Yeah, I get that.
And
yeah.
Yuna does the same thing too, in a sense. I think we love these characters so much because they are such emotionally arced characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, without a doubt. We are done with the tournament, you guys. Congratulations to Yuna on her victory. Victory! 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 Congratulations, Yuna, but also congratulations to our silver medal earner, Vivi, and our bronze medal earner, Auron. Final Fantasy VII didn't even make it into the top 3, you guys. Pretty shocking.
That's funny
for
because
some of you.
and I voted for Tifa. I really thought Tifa would get bronze.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was close. It was very close. Those last 2 battles were down to 1 vote, both of them, I think, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
Both battles down to 1 vote. I will post
yeah.
the entire bracket on Discord and on Twitter after the show, you guys, for you to check out, of course. But also don't forget to get on the Discord where we did a lot of the battles. You can see how they played out on the Discord at discord.gg/Droogle. Right now, we are going to take a commercial break. Let everybody stretch their legs, get a drink, go to the bathroom, all that kind of stuff. And let us get set up for our next segment. It's one of our favorites, of course. So please don't go anywhere.
Fantasy Jeopardy!
That's right. There you go. Spoiler alert. So take a break, you guys. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be back in, I would say, 5 minutes at most. So pretty please just hold on tight. Since we usually like to go with our special guest, James Lee, Mr. Tonberry, you are in control. We can go wherever you would like.
Do I just click one of the buttons?
I will click it for you. Just
okay.
ask Mr. Alex Trebek myself.
I'll go for a 400G, and I quote.
Okay. Here's the quote. These hands are a little too stained to carry her anymore. Sorry, her, not here. Her anymore. Chum, easily 18.
Beatrix.
I apologize. That is incorrect.
Do you
These
click the
hands
button
are a
to-
little too stained to carry her anymore. You have 5 seconds left. You can still buzz in. 5 seconds.
Oh, there we go.
James Lee?
Barrett.
Yeah.
No, it is not Barrett.
Ah, damn it.
I'm not buzzing in.
Oh, I just realized
Yeah.
you did it at the same time. Right? Yeah.
At the exact same
God
time, you
damn
guys figured it out. That was awesome.
Right at the same time. Jeez.
That was freaking awesome. The answer is, of course, Dine from Final
Yeah.
Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
You guys were
God's
close.
sake.
That was freaking awesome.
Such
Also,
an
please do not look
amateur
at
error.
chat. You guys know looking at chat because chat is answering. And chat, you are allowed to answer. Feel free to answer. But, Crystal Bears, I'm trusting you. Do not look at chat.
Okay.
All right. James, you are still in control.
Oh, let's go 300 blur background.
Here's the background. Easily tell me where this is.
Timber train station in Final Fantasy VIII.
That is correct. Timber would have been fine. Good job.
I forgot to look at the pet shop, the part that was unblurred, and I was looking. I was like, "What happened?" I think he missed a spot.
There you go. Way to go. Easily coming back a little bit. Still a little bit negative, but not too bad. You're in control now, Easily.
Blood background's 500.
Here's the background. Easily.
Final Fantasy IX Bermesia.
That is
The
correct.
throne room.
That is correct.
I almost said, I'm gonna get you easily.
Easily still in control.
Blood background 400.
Easily.
I think I'm wrong now. I was going to say Final Fantasy VIII, but I think I'm wrong. Which is in Zell's house.
That is incorrect.
Yeah.
James Lee.
I think it's Final Fantasy IX Alexandria.
It is not.
Ah.
Shoop, do you want to take a gander?
No, thank you, Alex.
Okay. The answer is
It's 10.
Besaid
Yes,
Village
10.
in Final Fantasy X.
As as soon as I said it, I buzzed and I looked at the animation on the lantern things, and I was like,
Shoop.
"That's 10." I
So
knew that was 10
disappointed.
as soon as I answered.
So
I don't
disappointed,
know.
Shoop.
I don't know if he's more disappointed in me or if I'm more disappointed in myself. Doing this on mobile's not easy. This will be the last time I ever do this on mobile.
It was the animation that gave it away, but
Easily, you're in control.
blood 200.
Shoop.
Ultimasia's Castle,
That
Final
is
Fantasy
correct.
VIII.
And since Shoop has been a little bit more careful than the rest of you, she's actually in the lead with 200 gil. Shoop, you're in control.
Let's finish out this cursed category of blurred backgrounds for 100. Oh, I know this.
James,
Cosmo Canyon, Final Fantasy VII.
that is correct.
Yep.
It is Cosmo Canyon. from
I'm
Final Fantasy
squinting
VII.
over here like I need glasses.
Way to go. James, you're in control.
I'll go for a 500 quote.
Okay, 500 gil. Here's the quote. Might as well rest and give Ted time to prepare. Shoop.
I believe that is Final Fantasy IX. Do I have to name the character?
Yes, you do.
Baku.
That is correct. Nice job. That is-
Nice.
he was referring to Dr. Tots.
Dr. Tot. He calls him
called him
Toot.
Ted.
Ted, yeah.
Dr. Toot.
Nice job, Shoop. You're in the lead with 700 gil and you're in control.
I just want to see what this category is. Emojis for 100.
All right. Here's the emojis. James Lee.
Cross slash.
That is right.
I was going to
Yep.
say ragtime mouse.
Good job you didn't answer.
That's awesome.
So the emojis is going to describe like an ability or a weapon
Could-
or
yep.
something.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And James, you're in control.
Let's stick with this category, 200.
Easily.
Phoenix down.
Phoenix down.
I clearly don't do well with imagery.
Easily.
We'll-
You're in control.
We'll go 300 with the same category.
Go ahead, Shoop.
Save the queen.
That is right. Good job. There you go. You're getting it now. You're getting it now. Shoop gets a 300 gil for 1,000 gil now. You're in control.
Yeah, I'm done with this category. And I quote for 100.
First of all, your beauty has captivated me. Second, I'm dying to know if I'm your type. I guess your abilities would be a distant third.
Oh,
10 seconds. Oh, Shoop decided to go for it.
I want to say Final Fantasy VIII. Oh my god, Quistis?
No. Chum, easily. You want to take a guess?
No, because mine was just answered.
Okay.
Yeah,
It is. Unfortunately, I think some of you wouldn't know this now that I realize that. It is Pedgar from Final Fantasy VI.
I wouldn't have known it, yeah.
James would have been the only one to know that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when he says it now too. Yeah, never mind.
Well, I think Shoop, you're in control. You only lost 100 for
Uh,
that. Not too bad.
yeah. And I quote for 200.
I wanted to change the world too, but I changed nothing. Shoop.
Orin.
That is Auron from Final Fantasy X. Shoop in control.
And I quote for 300.
Interrupting. Blow it to smithereens with a rocket launcher?
I know this.
Oh.
Nope. James
Is
is
it
going for it.
Riku?
It is not Riku, no. Easily?
Kate Sith.
It is not Kate Sith. All right, we're out of time anyway. Shoop, you cannot take a guess. It is Selfie from Final Fantasy
knew
VIII.
it. I knew it was 8. I knew it was 8. I was gonna
I
guess like Fujin or Rajan or something.
The worst bit is that's really early on. She says that.
Yeah, I knew it was a comedy. I knew it was like a comedic. One of the women characters who says it, and I got the wrong one.
It's all right. It's all right. There's still plenty of chance for you guys to come back. There's a lot of money on the board, a lot of gil on the board.
I don't know. I'm pretty far behind now.
No, you're fine. You're fine. There's literally 12, there's 1,500 in 2 categories right there.
True,
Another 900 here. There's plenty of gil to go around.
Let's is it on me?
Yep, you're.
Okay. Let's go. Let's try with Who Am I for 100.
Close your eyes. At the age of 13, I left my parents without telling them so that I could join the military. I have an X-shaped scar on my cheek. My last name is derived from fair weather. I was born in the village of Gungaga. That'll do it, won't it? James.
Zach.
It is Zach. You guys didn't know it until that point, huh?
We all opened our eyes so quick.
That's why I tell you guys to wait. Because if you read the last one first, obviously it's a lot easier. All right. Way to go, James. There's a little bit of comeback already. James, you're in control.
Yeah, let's go. Let's see what this potpourri is about. Let's go 500 potpourri.
This is the only attack in Final Fantasy IX that can do over 9,999 damage altogether. Come on, the Final Fantasy IX fans here. And time is up. Here's the answer. It's Charge by Steiner.
Well, yeah,
Oh, that's a
hit.
trick.
Yeah.
That's a trick question.
That's
easily you and your charge
Technically,
strats.
that's not right. It's not the only ability because you could use Doomsday, you could use Meteor. They both could.
I guess that's true.
Because
Should've said
Doomsday
those
does
two
like
then.
5,000 per one.
Mm-hmm.
The 9 experts are clueless. Don't look at us like that. Theo.
Well,
The irony
Sweet
of
Humbag's got it
charge.
in chat.
I was
Charge
thinking
being
of
so
one that did
necessary in
literally
speedruns.
over max damage in one hit, and I was like, there isn't one.
I thought about like arc, which does not. I thought about throwing a dark matter, which does not. Like, I mean, I thought of everything.
Yeah,
Nothing
I was
technically breaks.
Well,
that
nobody
cap.
lost skill there, so we're okay.
I was thinking through the trances, but yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's me again, isn't it? Let's do emojis 400.
Okay, here we go. Here are the emojis. Please don't say Hitler.
Don't worry, he's not in heaven.
Easily.
I'm already negative, but Alexander?
No.
That's a good guess, though.
Time is up, so I'm not going to let anybody else guess, but Shoop, you said heaven.
I thought about like my final heaven, but that wouldn't make any sense.
No, not quite. Based off of the first word being heaven, there's a pretty easy second word right there.
I have the answer. God.
Go ahead, easily. I'm not going to give it to you, but
Heaven's Cloud.
Heaven's Cloud. There you go.
What is the fucking? Excuse me. What does the castle have to do with it?
It's like a kingdom of heaven, baby angel kingdom of heaven. Come on.
I'm over here like Alexandria Cupid Cloud.
All right, James, you're still in control.
Let's finish this curse category and just do 500 emojis.
Easily.
1,000 Needles?
No. Good guess.
Shit.
Good guess. James.
I was going to say 1,000 needles as well.
No. I'll
No,
give you a
pass.
hint. Think about another word that 1,000 means. Shoop, want to go for it?
Grand Cross.
I wish I could say that's the right answer because I feel like I feel like it still works. But
that
it
is a really good
technically
answer.
doesn't. It isn't the answer, actually. Crazily enough, you know what? I will. That is so like I can understand why you would say that. So I will give you another guess. You're close.
I resign. Um,
Come on.
KO.
What do a crossbones and a skull mean?
Death.
Yes, or
Knocked
What's
out.
another-
K could be 1,000. KO.
no. 1,000 is grand. You're right with grand. What's an ability that starts with grand and ends with a word that's a synonym for death? And nobody in chat's guessing it either. All right.
Grand Lethal. Grand
There you
Lethal.
go.
Grand Lethal Dine Attack.
I can't give it to you, but yes,
Very
grand
good.
lethal.
Grand Cross should count.
Do we all lose points there since we all guessed wrong?
Shoop didn't actually buzz in, so I can't take it away from her.
I did. It says I'm buzzed in.
Yeah, all three of us buzzed in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take
want
my
me to-
points. Although I believe that Grand Cross should. Why don't you make chat vote?
Should I take 500 away from everybody?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, I could do that if you guys want. 2, 3, 4, 5.
I had grand part.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I already took it away from easily. So,
Yeah, I've already lost
All
mine.
right.
Take it from him twice.
all right.
Rude.
There's this is a tough board, I guess. I made this time. I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't
That
realize I
was
made this a difficult
hard.
one. This is a really tough board this time.
I
All
should have
right.
said it. I should have said 1,000 words.
Hmm. All right. Who's up? I think it's James.
Should still be. Yeah. I've got some cash to earn back, so let's do 500. Who am I?
Okay. Close your eyes, please. In the Gold Saucer, Cloud's date plays the princess inspired by me in the play. I became a white mage because my mother was one. Easily, you can open your eyes.
Aerith.
It is not Aerith. Inspired by me in the play. Searching for my loved one, I contracted desert fever. My middle name is Joanna. James.
Is it Rosa?
It is Rosa. Rosa was the inspiration for the princess in the play in 7. All right. There you go. You got some points back. There you go.
Yeah.
500. You're back in
Climbing back up.
contention here. James, you're in control.
Potpourri 400.
Close your eyes.
You what?
Close your
I
eyes.
thought you said potpourri.
Oh, you said potpourri? I think I might be able to back up. Hold on. Can I back up?
My eyes are still closed, so I don't. know
Thank you
what
for closing your eyes.
I didn't read it, but
I think I don't want to click exit. I feel like that's going to exit me out entirely.
We can just do this one if you want.
Just
Are you
this
sure?
one,
Yeah.
Yeah, let's crack on.
Okay. Who am I for 400? My friends left me behind for an adventure, forgetting all about me. I can have an early introduction if you select the same dialogue 64 times. I was supposed to be in play for Cornelia, but I had my part stolen. Shoop,
It's Ruby.
it's Ruby.
The 64 times. I knew it as soon as you said that.
There you go. Shoop, you're in control.
Who am I for 200? Close your eyes.
Close your eyes. In my early years, I devoted my life to taking care of children. I then built a school to prepare children for their future. Shoop?
Adia from Final Fantasy VIII.
Yes. Adia Kramer. Matron. Good job, Shoop. You're in control.
Let's finish it out so we can all keep our eyes open.
All right, close your eyes. I have round glasses, a bushy gray beard, and a mustache. Listen to all of my stories and you'll earn the Good Listener trophy / achievement. James.
Oh no, that second clip. I was going to say Teller, but
It
it's
is
not going to be Teller.
It is not, but Shoop, you can try.
Did I actually press it?
You did.
I wasn't sure if my finger was over the button. I believe that it's Machen from Final
It
Fantasy
is.
X.
It is Machen.
I
Good
remember that
job.
achievement.
Yep.
I didn't know if I pressed the button. I was like, I really hope. I'm like moving my thumb over my phone.
Shoop, you're in control.
Potpourri for 100.
This is the max rank you can race a chocobo in Final Fantasy VII. James.
S rank.
That is right. It is S rank. James, you're in control.
I need the cash 400.
In Final Fantasy X, the Magus sisters are a memorable summon. They first appeared in this Final Fantasy as bosses. Shoop.
Final Fantasy IV.
Actually, trying to remember if that's correct.
I
I think
That's not fair.
you are correct. I think you are correct. It is, okay. Final Fantasy IV, that's right. Sorry, Shoop, go ahead.
Potpourri for 200.
In Final Fantasy VI, everyone calls Locke a thief, but he actually refers to himself as this. James.
Treasure hunter.
That is right. And James, for 300, here you go. This is the only mainline Final Fantasy to not include both the iconic prelude and victory fanfare. Shoop.
I don't even know if you included this game in there, but Final Fantasy 16.
It is not.
Hmm.
It has the victory fanfare. Remember? Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. It has that.
I can't remember.
James.
11.
It is not 11. No, 11 has it as well. Easily? You want to take a guess?
My only thought is 8, but it has a victory fanfare.
Mm-hmm. It has the prelude too.
Yeah, so it's not. I didn't think it was that. My guess would be 13, but I don't remember 13 well enough.
It is 13. Yeah. I can't give it to you, but it is 13. Yeah.
No.
Final Fantasy 13 does not have the prelude or the victory fanfare.
It has a prelude.
It has
but
a
not the
prelude, but not the prelude. Yeah. It has like a it's a fine prelude, I guess. But I remember being very disappointed when 13 didn't have either of those. I was like, what? This is Final Fantasy? You don't have the prelude or the victory fanfare? What is this garbage? All right, so Shoop, should I give some gil to our players here so they can take part in this?
Yes, it's all fun, of course. give each of them 1,000.
No, I think that might be a little too much.
No, 1,000 still keeps them in the negative.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
No, it keeps me in the negative, doesn't it?
James,
James?
I think, has 1,100.
Oh, yeah.
And well, I gotta make them positive, or they can't even vote.
My
let me give
phone-
them 500. Can I give them 500?
What if?
No,
what
give-
if we
give them
both
1,000.
only have 100? Because if we're gonna win, but Shoop has to bet all of it if we do that.
Well, we need to go
So
quickly because
it's all in.
my phone is going to die if we do not
Okay.
continue. I don't care how much you give
I
them.
gave James and Easley. Currently they have 500 gil each. Shoop, you have 1,600.
Okay,
Okay, so if you play this smart, you can't lose.
that's true.
Okay, all right. The category is locations. You can put in your wager.
I've done mine.
All in, Easley, right?
Absolutely.
James Lee, all in, right?
All in.
Even if I get the question right, I'm still in last, so I don't mind.
All right. Here is the answer, I guess I should say. Lupagamido. You need the Rosetta Stone to understand the language of this location in Final Fantasy I.
I don't remember the name of the location because I just kept calling the location Lupigamido.
Lupagamido. You
I
need the
haven't
Rosetta
played one,
Stone
so this
to
is
understand
interesting.
the language of this location in Final Fantasy I.
Well,
I know exactly on the map where it is.
Same. Yeah.
I remember I just kept calling it Lupigamido because all the people kept saying Lupigamido.
Well, easily, good news, nobody knows.
As soon as we get the answer, I'm going to be like, God bless.
Yeah, you will. You're going to remember it the moment you see it.
All right, my answer is submitted.
Okay.
And I'm going to turn the brightness down on my phone so it doesn't die. I'm at 10%. I'll be all right.
I have no idea, so I'm just putting a location.
All right,
You
everybody's in.
really should type in Luna strats. That's what you should.
James, your answer. Ooh, so close. Really close. James,
can't
really
see-
close.
I can't see it on my phone. I'm still
James
stuck on the
guessed
question.
Lunaria. Very close.
I know it's Lou
Yep, you're very
something, but
close.
I couldn't.
I cannot give it to you, though. It is not Lunaria.
It's not
Shoot.
Lunafarian either. That's
Answered-
from 4.
Final Fantasy Lupakamido. It is not.
Lunatic Pandora.
And
That's the one I guessed
easily
anyway.
answered with Pandemonia.
I
That's
had
why
no
I
idea,
said
just put
you
the
should have
answer
said
is-
Luna strats.
Lufania.
Lufania.
Yeah. Nice try, though, James. That was really close. You almost had it.
Close, but yeah, no cigar.
Considering that the winner of this month's Final Fantasy Jeopardy is Team Banana Shoop, who wagered 1,099 so that she could still have 501. Shoop, you actually put yourself in danger of losing.
I know, but I knew if that they bet it all and they both got it wrong that I would win by 1.
Wow.
Or if they didn't gamble anything,
I
that I would
appreciate the
still win
guts.
by 1.
I appreciate
Yeah.
the guts on that. James, if you got it right, you would have won.
Damn.
It was good fun though. I like the board. It was
Yeah, that was
definitely
fun.
one I kind of rushed answers to.
I guess this was probably the most challenging board yet. I apologize, you guys. I wanted to go a little bit more difficult this time just because I feel like typically my boards are a little easier. So I decided to make it a little bit more.
My first time ever playing Jeopardy, and it goes hard mode. Can you
I'm
believe
sorry,
it?
I'm sorry.
Honestly.
Shoop did pretty good though. Shoop, you did pretty good, all things
Thank
considered.
you.
You had 1,600.
The emoji category really ruined me. I mean, I'm still mad about Grand Cross or Grand
But,
Lethal.
I mean,
not
Grand
Grand Cross.
Lethal makes sense though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I actually thought that was a stroke of genius, that emoji board. That's really good.
Thank you. I was trying to mix it up this time.
It was really smart. I don't do good with visuals. The blurred backgrounds and the emoji categories were definitely the hardest ones.
You guys
for me
killed it on
personally.
blurred backgrounds. You guys did great on that one.
Mm.
You guys did great
love
on
the
Who
blurred
Am I?
backgrounds.
Certain categories you guys knocked it out of the park on. The problem was that you guys guessed on questions you probably shouldn't have.
What was the
Well-
one that like one of the first ones? Easily, you and James both knew as soon as after you answered
Dine.
it wrong. Dine.
Dine.
Was
Yeah.
the one for dying.
Yeah.
As soon as I answered and as soon as obviously James said Barrett, I was like, why did I even answer that? It's literally when Barrett and Dine are arguing.
Yeah.
It says my hands are too stained, and Barrett says mine aren't much better
Mine
either.
too.
after
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fight.
Yep.
If
If you guys were like Shoop and you waited for the ones you truly knew, you would have been in the positive as well. That's the only reason Shoop was in the positive is because she barely had any misses, and her misses were on 100 gil questions. So she waited for the ones she knew for sure.
Yeah.
You got to be smarter Jeopardy players.
I'm over here
That
playing
was-
Final
that was
Fantasy
fun. That was fun.
Tactics.
Yeah.
James, do you need
Enjoyed
to
it,
head
though.
out? It is getting super duper late. We do have the movie.
No, don't worry. I can finish off. I'm fine.
You
I'm
sure?
fine.
Okay.
Okay, guys, let's get into the Moogle mailbox. Drew has delivered some mail today, you guys.
Keep in mind, by the way, that I don't have your stream open. So when you read these out loud, I'll really have to listen.
Okay, no worries. Let's reveal our first question of the night. We have 14 right now. It's a lot. First up, Sordeo Ventus. James Lee, top 3 Final Fantasy games and top 3 worst games of Final Fantasy. Go, James. Top 3 best and worst.
6 for story, 7 for gameplay, and 10 just because classic. Worst 2, 13, and 10-2.
There you go. That was a quick one. Next up, we have Sordeo Ventus again. What, in your opinion, do you think is the hardest or easiest boss in the Final Fantasy series? Ooh. Interesting. Easiest?
Easiest
Are we
boss,
talking
final Sephiroth
super?
fight.
Yeah, seriously,
Oh, yeah,
right?
sure.
You Yevon.
Yeah, you Yevon is very easily to beat.
I've seen people not realize the cheap trick of you, Yevon, though.
Yeah.
Technically, in my eyes, the easiest boss is the first fight in Final Fantasy IX because you self-sacrifice and you can't lose, and it is technically a boss.
That's an interesting answer. You're right.
Or Black Waltz 3 Part 2. Can't die unless you sacrifice Garnet.
Mm.
What about
'Cause he'll-
hardest?
Yeah.
What is the hardest boss battle in the series?
We taking
Ah.
in
Are
super
we?
bosses as
Yeah,
well?
that's the thing. Are we including super bosses?
I think we should. But
Yeah.
are we including, like, from our personal? I happen to know of a super boss that is way harder than any of the ones that I've fought. However, I haven't played that game yet, and it's from 12. And I don't want to say what it is in case, James, you haven't heard of it or gotten to it
No,
yet.
no, I know 12. Yeah, are you talking about the final
It's-
hunt in 12?
Yeah.
It's not available on the original 12, to my knowledge.
It's not.
Oh, really? That was only for Zodiac Age,
I
huh?
may be wrong, but I'm fairly certain that it's not in the original, or if it is, it was harder. I want to say.
Well, I'm
See,
going to say
I-
the. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say I don't think tedium fights are really hard. I think they're more of a challenge of you've got to have the stamina to kind of sit through it. But they
Attrition,
don't
yeah.
challenge you. Yeah, they don't really challenge you in terms of like I've got to react to this or I've got to plan and get ahead with my strategy. And they don't make you think in that way. It's just kind of rinse and repeat. And maybe when they get to a low amount of health, they get a bit of a boost, so you have to adapt to that. But that's pretty much it for those kind of long drawn out fights.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think and things that fall into that category, you get penance, you get the hunt that you were talking about, Shu. I don't know. I found Ozma quite interesting for 9.
I think
It's a lot of
Ozma
RNG, though.
or even Necron are actually two of the hardest fights in any Final Fantasy.
As far as just a
because of
final like
their
mainline boss, I
intelligence.
agree. Yeah, for Necron, I agree.
In terms of intelligence of AI, they are very, very clever. And they're not cheesable as such. Well, Necron is, but like Ozma's not really cheesable, whereas like Ruby Weapon, cheesable, Emerald Weapon, cheesable, Years Map, cheesable, Penance, massive stat grind planning,
Yeah,
essentially cheesable.
That's the question, right? Like penance, I would argue might be the most difficult because it requires a ton of hours to get to a point where you can even beat penance.
Mm-hmm.
I have an argument for that, though, of a harder boss in 10 than penance, and it's a super boss, and you have to kill them to fight penance, and it's Dark Anima. Dark Anima, I think, is, in all fairness, the hardest super boss in 10. If you can beat Dark Anima, all you got to do is build your separate armor for penance and know how to count.
I agree with Shoop on that one. 100%, I do.
As far
Penance
as
actually
mainline,
isn't difficult. It just takes time.
as far as main story bosses go, I think I would agree Necron is very high up there.
Mhm.
Necron's tough.
The number of people I've seen almost quit 9 right on the last boss because they just can't beat Necron.
A lot of people I've seen, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Let's go to the next
that's
one.
why it makes me laugh so much about the speedrun tactic for it.
Final tale. What NPC or background character has made the biggest impact on you that made you never forget them? I think Beatrix is obvious the answer here, considering the tournament.
Sorry, I need to hear the question again.
What NPC or background character has made the biggest impact on you that made you never forget them? Here's the thing, though. I guess Beatrix isn't NPC. You play her for a little bit. So I don't think we can include that.
I want to say Blank from 9.
You play as Blank too, though.
Oh, true, but okay, he's not a main party member. I don't know.
Non-playable character, though. NPC.
Dion.
I think. Oh, nice.
From 16.
I was going to go with Kefka from 6, although he's not really a background character.
Definitely not a background character. Here's my answer, but it's a little bit of a cheat. Zach Fair. 7 OG. You do not play as him.
For the purpose of OG.
He barely has anything in that game, but he is so incredibly important to Cloud and his arc. But you never play as him. You don't even need to see his story scene. It's an alternate scene. It's an optional scene.
Luketta in chat said Johnny in 7. That's a really good choice. Johnny's a good one.
What about the love of Zell's life that we never hear the name of?
Library girl.
Library girl, yeah.
Yeah.
Is Zach Fair a cheat? Do you think that's a cheat?
I think so, because I mean, again, this is one of those ones it's difficult to talk about without talking about story spoilers. And I know it's for 7; it's been out for years, but just in case, I don't know if you can kind of see where I'm going with this, but technically, I
you
would
have
say
to play Crisis Core in order to play as him.
Yeah, but
I have another one from 7.
I get where you're going after, James. Okay.
yeah.
Bugenhagen. He influences you quite significantly, and you never play him. He's only in at certain points. Technically a background, but a foreground background character nonetheless.
I mean, you could say Braska eject
Yeah.
from 10, you
You
know?
could. You certainly could. I wouldn't call them
Eject would
background
Eject would
characters,
be
though.
good.
They're not background characters.
But they're NPCs. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know me.
but
I'll tell you, Red 13's dad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good answer. That's a good answer.
So what's his name?
Seto.
So
Seto's a very good answer.
Seto's a very good answer. I agree with that one.
Oh, that part in Rebirth. If that's there, that's going to be heartbreaking.
Oh.
All right, that's a good
Oh.
question. Thank you. Let's move to the next one. We have Rabo. Question for Easily. What do you say to people who say CSR, while efficient, isn't worth it because we don't get to see Clara?
You can see it in your mind. And
Wait a
if you ask
second.
me nicely, I will
need to
put it in a
understand
small
this.
corner. Okay,
Wait, why
so
don't
in
you see
CS
Clara?
Okay, so technically you do, right? So you know when you see the dance scene in Clara,
Yeah.
that's not in CSR.
Why?
So after Antlion, you then skip all of that section, and you get to where Dagger is speaking to Queen Bran, because it's a non-playable section of the game and is just a break section in the speedrun. Like in the speedrun, normally in an NMS run, I go and let my dogs out or go for a pee or something during that time. I don't ever see that scene. But Rabo always does the Freya dance emote during that section. And he loves that section. It's like his favorite part of the game.
That's crazy.
And he will be waiting for it. That
There's the emote in
right
chat. Yeah.
And he does a wall of it. He loves it, right? In the cutscene remove mod, it is gone.
Huh.
You
All
don't
right.
see the end of Clara. You don't see that part of Clara. You literally just move.
Wow, that's wild, actually. Via comes in with the question, what are we most looking forward to for Rebirth? This is tough to get into without getting into spoilers. What was just talked about is definitely high up there. Seto and all that, and Cosmic Canyon is really high up there. But I think I would probably have to say Gold Saucer. I cannot wait to see Gold Saucer.
Yeah.
I have a different answer.
Me too.
Go ahead.
And it's a part that in OG I hate doing.
Really?
It's calm.
Ooh.
I want to see that flashback. I want to see the Sephiroth Cloud action. And I think they will have done a lot of justice to it, which in OG, it's just, it's a recap. It's good for lore, but yeah.
Here's the thing. It matters if it gets this point, but it looks like we might, based off of the scene of Tifa in the live stream, maybe we get there. But by far, my favorite sequence in 7 is piecing Cloud back together. I'll just say that.
Yes.
That is by far my favorite part.
It's a phenomenally good part.
That is, I don't understand why people act like the twist that you know what I'm talking about, is like the big twist of 7 when it is not. Like the piecing of Cloud back together is the twist of Final Fantasy VII, and it never gets talked about as the big twist.
No.
And I don't get it.
And it's built up. It is genuinely built up through the game. But it's not.
Yeah.
So my answer is related to that. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with Zack, given what you saw in the trailer and what we've seen so far. I mean, I always used to think, how would Cloud react if he ever came face to face with him and had to have another conversation with him? And we might get to see that. So it's I'm quite keen to see how that plays out.
Great. That's a great answer. Shoop, I know you don't have as much affinity for 7, but anything you're really excited about?
I was also going to agree with Gold Saucer, but here's a little more specific thing. So as you guys know, that there's like an attraction factor based on like who you go on a date with at Gold Saucer, where it could be like, you know, Aerith or Tifa or Yuffie or Barrett. And we saw in Remake that there is an attraction factor, like whoever you
Yep.
interact with first. Like if you choose to go talk to Aerith first or go talk to, you know, Tifa first. And I want to see how that attraction factor goes into the whole date thing in Rebirth.
Yeah.
And if their dialogue will be different than the dialogue on their dates in the OG.
Mm-hmm. It depends on if you're focused more on like pivotal story moment, which is like I said, the piecing of Cloud, or like 7 Remake. My favorite, most entertaining moment without a doubt is chapter 9 with the wall market. I mean, it's amazing. Like I just, it was so much fun. And I thought they did such a wonderful job adapting that for today's standards. And I think Gold Saucer is going to be Rebirth's equivalent to that. So I'm really excited to see how they handle Gold Saucer. It's going to just be, I think it's going to be obnoxious and ridiculous and fun. And I just can't wait for fireworks on the gondola and chocobo racing. I think it's just going to be so much fun. I can't wait for it. That's a great question, Via.
Can't wait.
I know. Another one from Ventus. What do you think is the proper way to play a Final Fantasy game? The proper way.
The way that gives you the most fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that, and I'm sorry this sounds rude, I don't think that's the best question for it, because there is no real proper way to play it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best thing about these games, is that there are so many different ways. You can speed run it, you can no sphere grid run it, you can no level it, you can completionist it, you can do whatever you want that brings your heart joy.
Here's what I will say. I'm not going to lie and act like if I watch somebody play Final Fantasy VIII and they're skipping all the dialogue, then I'm not going to be like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you know, I'm going to be like, yo, this is not the way to play Final Fantasy. Why just play something else at this point? But I agree with James. I do. If that is the way you're going to get the most fun out of it, that applies to every game in existence. And really everything in media in general. Like, do what is the most fun for you.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to look at you and be like, what the hell? But yeah, that's what you should do.
I remember when I was playing 8 as part of the marathon, I started off the game and I spent probably, well, I spent about 20 minutes drawing magic from enemies. Chat was saying I spent about 2 hours, but I was having fun with it. You know, they were all like, come on, you got to move on. And I was like, no, I'm going to build this up and I'm going to do this. And, you know, I think it just does come down to, you know, these games can be played in so many different ways. Do what's fun for you.
I do feel like I need to clarify. I obviously was not talking about speedrunners there, because that's a completely, that's a way of playing Final Fantasy that's totally legitimate. I'm talking about somebody that, like, for instance, somebody's playing like their very first playthrough of Final Fantasy IX and they're skipping all the dialogue and it's like, I just like the battles. I'd be like, wow, that is a choice.
But then they get to the end of it and they're like, wait, what happened?
Yeah, I'd be like, that's a choice. So yeah, I guess there's certain times where I might frown upon.
I can recommend one way to not play it, and that is with your nose. Because I had a very salty person come into my stream once who I'd never seen before, who said, this game is too easy. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, let me make it more difficult for you. And I shoved the analog stick up my nostril and proceeded to move my character around. Don't do that. My nose hurt for like 3 days. Don't do that.
Adobeard asks, would you want to see a pixel remaster of the non-pixel style games? So what he's talking about here is actually a demake, as a lot of people call it. It's where you take a more current game and turn it into pixel.
There is a NES demake of 7.
There is.
It's quite popular. For me, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think, I mean, the remakes themselves are kind of already a step beyond. I mean, I'm happy with what we've got. And if they were going to put some effort into making another pixel style Final Fantasy, I'd rather it be original.
I agree.
See what they can do in that way.
Yeah, I don't really have any desire to play a demake, if I'm being honest.
I don't want an official demake. A mod is fine, but I wouldn't want an official one now.
Yeah, like Ever Crisis interests me a little bit. It's not a pixel remaster. It interests me a little bit, but like, I mean, I could just play the OG. I don't know. It's like I feel like 7 Remake makes sense, and you still have the OG. You know, that's kind of my opinion on it. Anybody else differ?
Nope.
Not really. Next up, we got Sweet Humbags for whomever. Thoughts on the team attacks? So excited. So freaking excited. What about you guys?
They just look incredible.
Do you think they're going to be just duo? Do you think there's a chance at trio?
We didn't see trio, so
We
I don't
didn't, I don't
know. Maybe
think.
not. It makes me
Yeah.
wonder where the third party member is while they're doing these duos.
Mm-hmm. So of course, Intermission had our first glimpse at duo attacks. There's a little bit of that between Sonon and Yuffie. I think they're going to take it to another level in 7 Rebirth. One thing I keep talking about, I really, really hope they do this. They didn't flat out say it today. I'm going to have to really dissect the trailer, but I really hope they talked about they want to do like the best version of Gambits, right? In 7 Rebirth, they actually alluded to that a little bit, that they want to one-up Gambits. The way to do it would be that whenever somebody's not in your active party, they have Gambits. But it's Final Fantasy X style where you can take people in and out of your party on the fly as long as they're in your overall party. And then whoever goes back out to inactive party, their Gambits activate. I think that would be so freaking cool.
It would
Because you
allow
can see them in the
the
background.
utility of additional characters, which, in all fairness, if these guys were traveling as a party of 8, why would only 3 of them fight?
Right.
So,
And they're on the
it does
field
make
with
a
you.
lot
We've
of
seen it.
sense.
We've seen 5 people on the field with you in the game. Even in battle, we've seen 2 party members in the background doing their own thing. So it kind of seems like they might be implying that we might get that. That'd be pretty freaking cool. That's like you're getting Final
I
Fantasy
think it'd
12,
be
you're
very
getting
cool.
you're getting 10, you're getting ATB, you're getting action. It's like really I feel like that is a great future for Final Fantasy right there, in my opinion. I think it's a great hybrid, like just homogenization of everything. It's just really cool.
And that doesn't mean they have to use groundbreaking magic attacks, whatever, which could offset console performance. But if they're just doing something like that, Barrett could be still shooting. There's no reason why that can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Want to crash some consoles? No, never. Final Fantasy 16 did make the PS5 pretty hot though. Next question. Do you think you're going to get to the weapons or just an explanation of them by Red or a Bugenhagen?
I don't think we're going to get to fight them yet.
I think we're just going to get the explanation. I think what we saw. I said it earlier when we went through the trailer reaction. My thoughts are it's a simulation in Cosmo. What we see on the trailer,
Like
and that's
the
probably what we'll
universe
see.
thing that he shows us. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. I think it's just as he's talking about how the live stream works and how the planet works, and he's just talking about general planet theory. I think it's a part of that. That's my theory, but.
I think they want to build into the weapons being like a warning to the team essentially, because obviously they're not mentioned until they just are there in OG, like until basically the 20 minutes of them appearing kind of thing. You don't know about them. So I mean, I think it would be nice if we get a build up to them, and I think that's what we see. Personally, I think that's one of the weapons that we see in the water, in the live stream or water, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I think that is, as James said, I think that is a vision of future or vision of possible effects as such.
Okay. Next question. Coming from Adobeard. Do you want a serious or more farcical and lighthearted Final Fantasy 17?
I want a more.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Easily go.
No, shoot, you go. Mine's just mixture. That's all.
Yeah.
I want there to be serious themes with serious levity.
Yeah.
I think
Good balance.
16 suffered from that. Yeah, we want a balance.
100%. If we're talking about in comparison to 16, I definitely want more lighthearted, without a doubt. If we're talking about in comparison to 16, but if we're talking about it just in like the grand scheme of the franchise, then I feel like honestly before 16, all of them had a good balance for the most part. I feel like 7, 8, 9, 6, 10, they all had that balance of levity
Even
and depression.
15. 15 was dark in its themes, but you had the bromance. You had something,
Yep. Let's hope. We got a long time to wait, I think, anyway. So, next question comes from Loketa. Alexander being shown implies later game events than what the article says in the end. Do you think this could be Bugenhagen explaining summons as part of the live stream? I think they're going to mix things up. I don't think we can really look at the original and when you get Alexander and say, okay, that means we're not getting or are getting to this point in remake. They've already implied that, like, for instance, Wutai. I really, really thought we would see Wutai in part 2. We're not seeing Wutai in part 2.
Well, let's look at Leviathan. In OG, you don't get Leviathan until Wutai.
Right.
In,
Good example.
You don't
in
get any of
Remake,
the summons in
straight away.
Midgar.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're
Now
right,
you say
you're
that,
right.
you don't get any summons in Midgar. You're right.
Yeah, and I think, especially when you look at the fact that they're showing Kajata, which you do get on the way to the Forgotten Capital, and you see some of the other ones like Odin. I think they're just throwing in a few extra ones, and I think the last part will throw in the last load of extra.
Okay, next question. What is the biggest upset in the tournament, in your opinion? I don't think there were any major upsets, actually. I think the only thing that came close to a major upset was Lulu versus Aerith.
I don't know. Solaire's not making it into the later rounds at all.
Okay, yeah, if we're including round one that happened on Discord, yeah, I would agree. That is probably the biggest upset of the tournament. I think Aiko beating Celis.
I
But-
dare say that it might be the finale.
You think Yuna beating Vivi? No, I think that was a fair match.
It was a fair match, but I think a lot of people waited a little too long at the end, and I think there were more people that wanted to vote for Vivi but missed that ending there, like when the poll ended.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. I didn't see anybody in chat say that they were too late, though.
I don't think it was a wild upset by any means, but I do think that Vivi was the favored one to win.
Yeah. I think it was Vivi and Yuna, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. I think it was a pretty expected outcome overall. I think all of the battles went pretty much how I thought they would go as far as the winner. Some were closer than I thought they would be, and some were more spread than I thought they would be. But the outcome was about what I expected. Yeah. The question is, like, how would it have differed in like another community, right? Like, I wonder.
I think the 14 characters would have gotten further.
Probably.
I think Lightning losing to Sid was surprising.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising. I agree with you there. I do agree. That was pretty surprising. Yeah. Where is Waka? Says Durak. Waka did not deserve to be in that tournament. That's the answer.
Rotten son of a shoe puff.
We have 3 more questions. Ventus again. What is your favorite Final Fantasy Easter egg?
I like in Crisis Core. There's this is back when it was on PSP only. There was a specific spot that you could stand in one of the dungeons where you could see Emerald Weapon before it launches.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yep.
So yeah, I always like trying to find that bit.
That's very cool. I'm a big fan of musical Easter eggs. I especially like for instance, I was playing which one was it recently that had the desert that had Kuja's theme in it in one of the Pixel games. Was it 3? 4?
Oh.
I was so shocked by it. I was like, wait a second, this is Kuja's theme.
I remember you being like, Shoop, come listen to this. And
Was
I
it
was like,
5?
It'll be like a reverse Easter egg of sorts then.
The Easter egg is actually 9's Easter egg, right? Like 9 pulled that theme from, which it makes sense. 9 is an homage to the entire series. So 9's Easter egg is that it pulls a desert theme from 5 and uses it as Kuja's desert theme. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
I also love that Edea was originally designed for Final Fantasy VII. I think a lot of people know that. And for that reason, Premonition, the first boss battle with Edea, begins with Final Fantasy VII's main theme in it. Da, 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 da. It's kind of made a little bit more eerie, but it's Final Fantasy VII's theme in Edea's boss battle because she was meant originally for Final Fantasy VII.
Yep. I have 2. One is the Buster Sword being in Final Fantasy IX in the weapon shop. I think that's really quite a cool little touch. And then the other one is a recent one. I basically lost my mind at the fact that the hunt icon in Final Fantasy 16 was the first hunt of Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah, that's cute.
I found that such a phenomenally nice touch.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that as well. There was a couple in 16 that were pretty neat.
There's one in 16 that Easley hasn't gotten to that I'm really excited for him to get to. That was one of my favorite Easter eggs, personally.
Once again, musical, but
can we mute?
Very late.
I got it.
Hey, chat, please. Thank you.
You got it already, Easley?
Thank you, Easley. I think I can't. There's so many from 9, and especially since I'm kind of playing things in a backwards way. Like the Joseph thing was really cool for me, but somebody who had already played 4, years ago, one of my favorite Easter eggs from 9 was Kane's lance. That was really, really a nice touch for me as a kid, just knowing who Kane was. And then for me playing through Final Fantasy 1, Mount Glug, which is spelled differently, having the same music as Mount Gulag in Final Fantasy 9. Lally ho, rally ho, all of 9.
Yeah.
But I think with anything outside of 9, the hunt that Easley has not gotten to yet was my favorite Easter egg in modern times. It was a really, really, it's because it's the first time for me that I've seen 9 get its own Easter egg versus the other way around, where 9 Easter eggs everything else. It was cool.
James, did you have any other ones?
I think you've touched on some of the really good ones. I'm just kind of thinking through. I mean, 14 is littered with
God.
A whole bunch of Easter eggs.
We could go on for hours.
I'm working my way through 14 now, and every so often I'm just like, oh look, that's another one from back then. But yeah, I think we've mentioned quite a lot of the good ones.
The one I will not speak to directly, but I'll just say to Easley, I don't know that you're going to appreciate it too much because it is an Easter egg related to the very first Final Fantasy game, but listen closely to boss battles at the end of 16.
Okay. I've heard a little bit of one of the final fights because it might be new. Somebody raided into Kira when she was on the final fight, and I was lurking in that stream already, but I didn't have sound on and I wasn't watching it. I just had it open, and I got raided in, and I obviously stayed to say hi before I muted again, but she was actually fighting the final boss. So I was
think
like,
it was
I'm not
me.
watching.
I think I'm the
it
one
was
that
you,
rated her.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm saying hi, but I'm not staying.
Question 15. If there was a true last Final Fantasy game, what would be something you think it would need to include? Ooh.
Status ailments.
Definitely needs that. Needs status elements. Yeah, it needs buffs and debuffs and all that kind of stuff. But in seriousness,
Repeat the question, I just want to hear how it's worded.
if there was
again.
a true last Final Fantasy, like truly this is the last one, there's never going to be another Final Fantasy, what would be something you think it would need to include?
Okay.
Levity with a good love story. Final Fantasy has always had love stories, and I think that the thing 16 massively lacks is levity.
There are certain things that, in my opinion, every Final Fantasy needs. So just to get off the bat, like it says in chat, it needs Cid, it needs Moogles, it needs Chocobos, it needs the mainstays at this point that define Final Fantasy. It needs a prelude, it needs a victory fanfare. When those aren't there, Cactars, Tomberries. In all honesty, yes, it does. It needs all of the mainstays. It needs Marlboros or Moorballs, if you want to call them that. It needs Behemoth, it needs Tomberry, it needs Cactar, it needs all of the mainstays. That's without saying. But in my opinion, it needs to have a party. It needs to have a controllable party.
If it's going to be the last Final Fantasy, and I'm going to put this in broad terms, if it's the very last one, it needs to have a happy ending.
I like that.
Yep. Yeah, I like that.
I would definitely agree that if you're doing the last one, it should end happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not ambiguous.
The shade. All right. And the final question. Oh, actually, we got another question that just came in, so we have 2 more. Sweet Humbags, I know this is kind of tough to answer without spoilers, but with how Vincent was revealed, do you guys think think more will be revealed about his past and even about his future in this game, more so than Classic 7? Yes. All I'm going to say is yes. I think that this is acknowledging the compilation, so they're going to allude to Dirge of Cerberus. They already have, actually, with Intermission. So yes, I think 100% we get more Vincent story than we would have in a straight up 1-to-1 OG remake.
Yes, but not by a lot, because there was already a lot if you searched for it in OG.
Did I say Surge of Cerberus?
No, you said Dirge of Cerberus.
Okay. Because it's funny you said that, because that was one of like my classic flubs back in the day when I did the Level Up show, is I did say Surge of Cerberus in one of like an old episode of Level Up show. So that's funny you said that, Rado. That's like old school Andrew flubs right there.
You may have said it, but I don't think I heard that.
Yeah.
We'll go back and listen to it on Spotify.
All right. And final question of the night. Zarkano comes in. With the presentation of the buggy and the colored chocobos, do you think there's any chance of open world? Not
Yes.
fully, no.
I say
They
yes.
have said in that one link that B gave us there is open world.
I think it's going to
They
be
said it's
very
massive.
large open zones, like very large.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we've talked about this many times before, but if they make the area of Midgar, Calm, Chocobo Farm, the Marsh, all into Mithril Mines, if they make that like to scale of what it would actually be, that's huge. That's absolutely massive.
Mhm.
That's like an
Yeah.
open world in and of itself. But what they're going to do, in my opinion, is they're going to use the Mithril Mines as the transition into another major open zone. That's going to be a dungeon that is essentially a loading screen for Junon, for Fort Condor, for everything that comes after that before you cross the ocean and there's another transition. That's, you know what I mean? So they have these major open zones. The question is, if we get to a point where there's a controllable airship, how do they handle that? Like, do they allow you to choose a zone and then you can fly over that zone? Or do they actually make a version of the map that allows you to fly over it?
If we're talking open world like Elder Scrolls or like The Witcher, then no. Open zones, yeah.
Yeah. I think they're going to be massive. I think they're going to be really big zones. You wouldn't have a flyable chocobo if it wasn't huge. Why would you want to fly a chocobo around like a Final Fantasy 12 size zone? Like that's not what's going to happen. They're going to be very big, I think, which is cool.
Regions almost.
Like the area in like Sandbrick, for example, and probably even bigger than that actually.
I think a bigger version of that. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah. Good question though. Thank you. And that is the final question. Drew, get out of here. All right. That is the show. What's up?
Do you think it would be too much for you to put your virtual camera back on?
No, not at all.
Because I can't watch the stream otherwise. I don't want to open it up in another. Thanks.
Hi.
I just want to see everything.
Hi, you guys. Now you can see me. Oh, this was a good show, you guys. We had a lot of discussion. That was an awesome tournament. We got to talk about 7 Rebirth. Congratulations to Yuna for being the greatest Final Fantasy protagonist of all time, it turns out. Vivi close second, and Aaron coming in with that bronze battle. Tifa, I think, gets a nod as well. Honorable mention for Tifa. That was really exciting. We really appreciate all of you being here. Hit that follow button if you enjoyed the show tonight here at twitch.tv/Droogle. But more importantly, follow the others. Follow Risey Shupov. Follow Easily18. Follow James Lee 85. Shoop's playing through the Pixel remasters right now, and is a diehard 9 and 10 fan. She's going to be doing a whole bunch of Final Fantasy for the future. Easily is Final Fantasy 9 extraordinaire speedrunner, but also is going through 16 right now and will continue to play others. And James is going through a full-on marathon right now of OG releases of Final Fantasy. He's on Final Fantasy 12 right now, going to be doing Revenant Wings, going to be doing Tactics Advance 2, and a whole bunch of others. So that's as diehard as it gets right there. As for me, I'm currently on Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster, and I'm also doing Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood. I'll be doing a 7 Echo S mod run, an 8 no level run, a 9 speed run, and a 10 no sphere grid run in the future. Those are my next playthroughs of the Final Fantasy series. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for the transition background there. I appreciate that. Any final words from you guys? Anybody want to take the floor here?
Can we just ask that those of you who have not rewarded us experience, please do so. You do not know what that experience will be used for. We have not said yet.
Shoop with a commanding lead right now still.
I think Shoop's going to level up tonight.
Yeah, I think Shoop's definitely going to level up tonight. Oh, Easily getting 200. There you go, Easily. So Easily's campaigning. I see how it is.
Campaigning the experience, yeah.
I'm also giving Shoop the access to the Echo S9 mod right now. I've just given her the link.
Oh, nice. Ooh. Very cool.
And you can play all the way up to Limblom with that.
I don't have it on Steam, though. I got to get on Steam.
Yes, and I'm buying that for you.
Aww.
Now I gotta learn how to use a computer.
No. You can still no. You can still use the controller. You can still use controller. I do. So you run it exactly the same, just on PC.
I'm gonna cry. I heard, like, I watched the demo for it a little bit, and I heard Senna's voice, and it was everything that I thought it would sound like when I was a little kid.
I know. That's why I wanted to get it, yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Logan Knights in chat right now, because Logan's not typically able to be here for these late night shows, but he's in Canada right now, so he was able to watch tonight. Logan, I'm really glad you got to enjoy the episode tonight. I do apologize for all the technical difficulties. I think I'm gonna have to rework a lot of stuff before next episode to see if I can lower the resources and find out a way to keep maybe we got to get away from Twitch guest star or something. I'm gonna figure out some solutions to lower the resources and have a more smooth episode. Honestly, I don't even know if I'm going to put this one up as a podcast because it might be so difficult for me to do so. But we were really happy that you guys stuck through with us. We still got like 40 people in the room almost. Actually, 40 people exactly. So thank you for all the crashes and stuff. You guys stuck around for the most part, and we really, really do appreciate that. We will be back next month. Let me see if I have the date. I do not have it available. It's the first Thursday of next month, which is October 5th next month. Go ahead, Shoop.
I also wanted to thank James because James, I know you moved your stream schedule around. I know it's like 4 a.m. at the moment for you, and you took off work tomorrow.
No, it's all good. Thanks for having me. It's been really fun. I've had a really good time.
It's been great having you.
Please
You were
give
perfect
Vicky
for
my
this episode.
best as well.
I will. Yeah, my wife Vicky's been the hero. She's the one who's going to take care of our 3-year-old tomorrow morning so I can sleep in. So yeah, I'll thank her on your behalf.
All right, you guys, we are going to raid out, of course, but we're going to find who we're raiding during the credits. So stick around for the credits, enjoy the credits, and wait for the raid to pop up. And we will see you next time. All right, until then, take care. And as always, don't forget to level up, everybody.